Blast him.
And my last stabby thing, I put in Mantra's mouth.
That, you know?
Good night, everybody.
How many?
95 of Coriander Society Adventures. John, Asena, Mireth, handmaiden to Princess Adthea, Princess Adthea, Dargan, and Chester all ventured into the forests outside the elven city of Fluris to retrieve a piece of the flesh of Kor. The way there was difficult and traumatizing, filled with horrifying visions of mutating flesh, rot, and corruption. Asena in particular kept seeing Princess Adthea, but mutated and twisted and something wrong with her. Eventually, they made their way to the very center, to the grove, where John had planted the flesh of Kor as part of an evil tree and left the dryad Benthazel to guard it in exchange for saving her long-lost love from a fate worse than death. Time had taken its toll on Benthazel. She was racked with pain and mental trauma, and our heroes busted in and attacked the tree, which unleashed a whole bunch of corrupted guardians. They were able to overcome them. Adthea unleashed some sort of screaming psychic attack in the middle of the battle that nobody really had a chance to analyze. Afterwards, when the heart of the tree burst forth and attacked them, Asena said Dargan could eat that. Turns out the flesh of Kor was inside of it. Dargan started saying some really scary stuff that didn't really sound like him. John made him puke it up. On their way home, safe and sound with Benthazel, taking her and the flesh of Kor back to the city of Fluris, they got a call from Paracelsus, an agent of the Coriander Society, and they've arranged a meeting next Tuesday at an interdimensional place called the Panopticon so that John can finally tell his side of the story. Welcome to Loriander. This is our first episode of the after show. That was the recap. That's a thing we're going to do from now on, so we can put it at the front of the next episode. Though I should probably like full screen myself for that one, but next time. Yeah, next time. So this is the part where I'm supposed to ask Matt how he's doing. Matt, how you doing?
Man,
that's great. Who cares? Pods, how you doing?
What?
Go ahead, Matt.
No, you're gonna make Matt cry.
No, I'm doing okay. I got to take my daughter to the dentist for the first time. She rocked. I cried like a baby. But everything is going absolutely swimmingly, and I was so excited for us to get back to Coriander once more.
Hell yeah. Pods, what's new with you? What's going on? You've been doing a lot. Have you been doing like traveling and going to things and doing stuff?
I've been invited to a couple influencer things. I got to go to like a Barbie beach house on Saturday. That was really cool. I have a thing coming up. I'll just say it here. You guys have to pretend you didn't hear about it because I do want to post it on social tomorrow. But on Friday, I get to host for Xbox. And I'm going to be hosting at the World of Barbie in Santa Monica. So we're going to be touring the World of Barbie, showing you guys, what's all there. And then we're going to be playing some Forza to show off. They have like a collaboration right now where Barbie's Corvette and Ken's Hummer are both in Forza right now. So you have to play that.
That's
but yeah,
fun.
if you want to watch that, it's going to be 9 a.m. on Friday at twitch.tv/Xbox.
And if you're following Pods on socials like you should be, this will all be announced there as well. I am absolutely, Mrs. Gnomes and I, we are absolutely going to go see that movie. It looks like a great movie.
Oh, it is so, like, every trailer I see, every interview I see is just, like, making me more hyped for it. I'm so excited.
Hell yeah. Okay, so we just finished episode 95. Bunch of stuff happened. I did my best to traumatize Pods, as you do. a bunch more stuff from the campaign that Matt and I played literally 10 years ago, literally a decade ago, came up with Benthazel and such.
So cool.
Before we do anything, I just want to say, Matt, any thoughts? I've got some like organized, structured stuff we're going to do, but first I just want to say, any thoughts about tonight?
I mean, yes, absolutely. First of all, I don't get a lot of time to just talk about this kind of thing, but I just want to say it's kind of phenomenal to see all of the fun little just games that when I moved down to San Diego that we would just kind of go, hey, you're not free, I'm busy, whatever, yada, yada. Let's just play for a little bit. And we would just craft these stories about this dimensional wizard that was just running around doing one-on-one D&D and all these crazy stories we came up with. We used like 4 different systems to play this character. There's been so many different versions of them. And to just see what you and I did when we were in our infancy of adulthood kind of come to fruition now under a new scope and under new friends, it's just really amazing to see what it's become. And I'm so excited that our quote-unquote Carmichael Chronicles has turned into the Coriander Society, and we've added Pods of Sasena, and it's just taken such a completely different turn than what it was. And I'm just seeing these characters kind of brought to life both on the screen and out of our hearts and brains and just out there on social media and among the masses. It's a very fun thing.
It is cool. I get a kick out of it. I try to make sure that we don't put too much inaccessible old lore in there, but it's a kick. Pods.
Yes.
Are you winning?
Winning? Winning what?
Yeah, the war against hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. The struggle bus was real there for a second.
like, I should make this more straight, and then it went badly, so it's staying.
Oh shit. We're worried about straight right now.
Yeah, any quick thoughts on just the episode or anything? Again, this is your floors open moment. We're gonna do one of these every episode, so
I thought it was really cool. It was very spooky. Like I don't think we've had like a spooky episode in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like all I can think of is like maybe at the beginning of like Ralzamon, when like Ralzamon was in my head, like that was really scary.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool to like be in that mindset again, and then also to like play with Asena and see like how she would react to such a thing. Yeah, so I think just like the whole vibes were like it was a different episode. It was like an action-packed episode, but we still had like a lot of storyline happening. So it was a really good one, I think.
Awesome. I've been trying to make it so that we'd have, I always joke about me playing with my action figures and setting up these enormous fights with 50 million different types of NPCs with all their different stat blocks. I am trying to either do less of that or make more story battle integration like a good GM does. I'm going to continue working on that. Next up,
actually, hopping off the back of what Oz was just saying, you would ask me about my review of the episode, and I just want to echo what Janessa was saying, in that I think for a while now, Coriander has been moving closer towards this more episodic kind of thing rather than a free-form sandbox. And I think this episode really showed the work you've been putting into it. I felt like we got a lot done. We didn't have any big stumbling moments. We went through an entire combat with a boss and a bunch of different enemies. We had an exploration mode. We had role play. We fit in all the 3 pillars all into one like 3-hour-ish long like chunk with one break in the middle. We covered a lot of ground. And for those of you playing at home, though Asena and I, or rather not Asena, Pods and I have some input on like what is happening. This is not a scripted show by any means. Joe comes up with everything. We have very little to no forward motion into what's going on, and so this is not a pace by pace thing like we're trying to hit marks and stuff. We have a general idea of what's going to be happening, and so this felt really tight by comparison to how things have been in the past. And I'm really excited to see how you're taking the story going forward.
Thank you. I'm trying. We're I don't remember if we've said this officially yet, but after episode 100, we are shaking things up. I think I've given spoilers on Hive, if you follow me on Hive. After episode 100, we're shaking things up. We're going to have a more focused show in general. One of the things I love about DMing is just letting the players do anything they want. Like, I like that wide open, total freedom, go in a completely different direction than I planned. But both Coriander Society and Ioth Academy are getting up there. Like, they're both getting towards triple digits. And that things tend to get hairy and branchy. And with my style of DMing, you end up with a million things going on. And like, I'm not going to stop doing that. That's me. But definitely trimming things, like maybe not trimming things, but, you know, grabbing the topiary and wiring it so it grows more in a specific direction. I think it's going to make a better show and story for everybody. We had
it feels more like a tree than like a web.
Or like
we have the main
briar
branching
patch.
trunk. Yes.
I think it's also more like how I watch shows and content as well. I don't know how many of you, if you guys are this way, but I don't like to watch things in order. Matt learned this when I was like, he was like, have you watched Star Wars 1, 2, and 3? And I was like, no, I've only seen 4, or the opposite. He's like, have you seen 4, 5, 6? I was like, no, I've only seen 1, 2, 3, and then 7. Like, and he was appalled. But don't worry, I've fixed it by now. But like, yeah, like I think the future of Coriander will be like more digestible and more like, we had somebody in chat today being like, oh, I don't want spoilers, I haven't watched Coriander in a long time. Like, I hope that with some good changes that we're making, people are just gonna be able to drop in whenever they have time. Yeah,
absolutely.
So we had a question.
Specific arcs with a little bit of that cool side content that we love to get lost in.
Yes. Okay. I lost track of when we actually started this episode, and we're of Loriander, and we're aiming for half an hour chunks. Again, super digestible. So I want to move on to a question we got from the community earlier for each of you, which is, what is your favorite Asana moment of the campaign? And I think you both will immediately understand what we mean when we say an Asana moment.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. I'm gonna go ahead and, just because I've already got one, I'm gonna start us off. My favorite absolute Asana moment was when we were going to be teleporting for the very first time. And you ended up dropping the whole like, okay, and every single time you've ever teleported, it's like, okay, Joe describes this very cool, this is how it feels, and then you're here one moment, gone the next, and you're somewhere else, and explains the sights, sounds, and smells of everything that takes place. And instead of that, he described that and then said, that's what you hear, Matt. Asana, this is what you are experiencing instead. That was such a huge, like, whoa. I feel like we're seeing a lot of DMs lately that are, you're very Tolkien-esque in the way that you love storytelling explanations, mate. We're seeing a lot more DMs that are trying to focus things not just on these big grand set pieces of dialogue and monologue. And a lot of times when I DM, I try and talk about camera angles and things. People are bringing cinema, and I see you doing a lot more of that as well. To me, that felt like such a cinematic moment where you, without even saying time slowed down, by the way that you described it, it made it feel like, boom, we had that slow-mo moment. And John, blink of an eye, but Asana was able to just have this one small moment extended into a huge possible decision. And when she just pulled the trigger on that, and that was one of the biggest things that cemented how Asana would be. It was one moment that just nailed down and concreted, this is who Asana is. And that, for me, is always going to stand out as, that was an oh shit moment, because we were going to go, I believe it was to Perianth. We were going to go to a different place. And instead we went to the Astral Sea. And that started a huge tangent of us always ending up in the Astral Sea. And I love it. It's great. It sets the tone for how I think Coriander has been going and probably will continue to go.
All right, Pods, what's your favorite Asana moment?
Gosh, it's so hard because, okay, I have a lot of moments. Everything that I do in this campaign is my moment. But I think that, as with anyone's first true D&D character, a lot of their like own personality comes through to Asana. So there's kind of two. The first one is like, I really like the moments where I solved something really creatively, and it was more out of like I I just blurted out the first thing that came to my mind instead of this really like thought out process. So things like when we were in that channel and like there was a boat.
Oh my god.
And I like fused the boats together or something.
Yeah, it was in the middle of that whole thing with the ocean with the tanker that got stuck.
The evergreen. The reason why that happened was because it was like popular news that like the evergreen got stuck in the Panama Canal, and so it was just like, okay, well, Asaina's gonna fuse the boats to get him stuck. So yeah, I would love to say that I like planned those things out, and that Asaina's just brilliant, but really just like real life influences art. But my favorite Asaina moment was not even in the campaign, so it's not something people would know about. But Joe was there. It was in real life when we went to Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, so we went to Dunkin' Donuts and I ordered hash browns, and out of nowhere, like I got distracted and I just grabbed hash browns like from like the order delivery tray, and I just started eating them, and they were not my hash browns. And that's kind of like they were cold, and so I had to like kind of like put them away, and I like snuck them back onto the counter.
I remember this story. Oh gosh.
I'm not explaining it well, but like that's when we realized that like Janessa is Asaina. Because it was like this IRL Asaina moment of just like that was not my food, and I just grabbed it and started eating it.
Oh my god, I forgot. Like, that's so perfect. I forgot about that. That was lateral thinking about what constitutes an Asaina moment, but it was absolutely an Asaina moment.
Yeah,
Who said
it's
that?
just like they're meshing.
I have a question for you, Janessa.
Okay.
Since you've started playing Asaina on the show, do you feel like those moments that you have that used to just be kind of quirks about you've really just nailed down as like, oh yeah, that's an Asaina moment. Oh yeah, that's an Asaina moment. And it's become a different part of like, either a different part of your personality, or you've realized like, oh yeah, that thing that I'm always portraying when I'm on the show, that's what I'm tapping into. And something that either was always there, or has it really just changed and developed even more so after you've been playing this character?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely more cognizant of what I'm doing. The beginner episodes, like I would say like the first 30 was really just like, I'm just going to blurt things out and like things are going to happen. And I've taken those moments and then started building on them. So like, you know, the whole idea of like her not understanding what's happening, like the phone, like she doesn't know how to use a phone. Those are now purposeful, but I think they started out really organic. And it also came from like, I have no idea how to play D&D. So it just like, it came from there, but now I do it on purpose.
I love how within the last, like, what has it been, 2 years, you went from being, I don't know how to play D&D, to now you've been on like a few different D&D shows. Like you were on D20 Deathmatch. You've been on, you know, Coriander here with us. You were on, gosh, what was that really cool one that you guys did, the Dungeon of the Damned?
Catacombs of the Damned. Catacombs of the Damned, yeah. The one we did on stage, and then we had a follow-up next year, yeah.
Yes, and then you had a follow-up
really cool.
with through Do Not Peek. Yeah, that's 4 different strange shows that you've been on.
I know, I don't think I get to say that I don't know how to play anymore.
Agreed.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just
but I still haven't played offline.
It's true, it's so
Not
weird.
yet.
Yeah.
We'll fix it.
I have
We'll
not
fix it.
played like not in a show.
I've been trying to set up meetings with you and Thomas so we could get together and do an offline game, but there's just,
That's
it's so
true.
busy. We're so busy. It's hard.
I know.
My
Okay.
favorite Asaina moment is the origins of cut the bullshit and tell us what we want to know.
Yep,
That
I knew you'd
was-
say that.
That, I mean, there's a reason it's your catchphrase card, right? It's iconic.
Exactly.
It was just such a great moment. The, you know, head first charging through things. A lot of the other moments that I love are moments that were more about gameplay, and I'm trying to really make this an Asaina moment, right? Like you stealing the crown from Dream, from the Dream.
Oh,
That was cool. But was that an Asaina moment? Partially. In chat, this question was raised in our Discord earlier. You can join our Discord. You look down below. And glow sticks and spoons were mentioned heavily. The obsession with the glow sticks and distributing the spoons, like those little just completely off base diversions are some of the best stuff that comes out of this.
Yeah, and that's really just like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna look at my character sheet and be like, okay, I have a glow stick. Do something with it.
But that's great. That's great because it's always better to have that than just dead air, right?
Yeah.
And good stuff comes from it. So the creativity is hugely appreciated.
It's funny. I feel like all of the Asana moments have really had such an impact on the way that I play John. Like going into, like how you were describing the first 30 episodes of how you were versus how you are now, going from it being like reactionary choices to now conscious choices. Originally, I had been going with John this very, oh no, I need to try and help guide these new cosmic adventurers and make sure that even though, like Joe was saying, I knew a lot about this story because of all the time that we put into playing it, and now it's taken such a drastic turn that I have to be very careful because some of what I know is either wrong or very different, or I have to dance around like, oh yeah, I shouldn't know this, or oh wow, it's so different than how I was expecting. But just the way that I interact with even your character went from this very, oh no, I need to help kind of guide and mentor her and be there and help build them up, and now it's like a very just yes but or yes and. It's like I used to have John try to, well, maybe we shouldn't do that. So like, sure, you want to do that, fine. I'm tired of fighting against the waves and getting knocked down and dragged against the shore. Let's just go ahead and get a boogie board and ride this wave and see where it takes us, and we'll figure it out from there.
First 6 months of being a supervisor, everything afterwards being a supervisor. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's been great.
I definitely noticed that growth, and I think it's been fun too. Like John, I think from my perspective, John felt like sort of like accountable for Asana and did not want her to get hurt, and especially after like all of his other companions have like ended up in very bad situations.
Yeah.
But my favorite moment of like that switch was when we were at the Sunken City, because there was just like a noticeable, you're like, fine, go down there. Like, well, let's go. Actually, that's a good idea. Let's go. And like Asana was like, oh, this is weird. Like, maybe I shouldn't go.
That was a great moment.
Yeah.
I've absolutely been leaning more towards, no, let her do it. Or you know what, let's try it. And that was a definite, you're like, no, actually, I want to do it. Let's go on one of these crazy, let's go to the astral sea. Let's go to the bottom of the freaking abysmal ocean. Let's make that happen. That was great.
It's been fun.
So what's something each of you would like more of in the game, in the campaign?
Gosh, more of. So are you asking Matt? Are you asking John? Or are you asking the gremlin, the dice goblin in my brain that like needs shiny
The
things?
dice goblin?
This is me, the dungeon master, asking my players, doing a post-game check-in. Hey, what do you want more of? What do you want less of? So whatever answer between those three warring voices in your mind, whoever's the loudest or the truest, give me that. What's one thing you want more of in the game? You can say loot. You can say.
Yeah.
You want to start this one?
You can't think of anything?
Oh no, I've got it. I just didn't want to just
kidding,
sample over.
He's alphabetizing it.
Exactly.
I want there to be more role play, but I think that I interpret that question as like, what can I improve on? And so obviously like Asana role play is there, but there's definitely times where like I will think of something in my head and then I'll just be like, and then Asana runs over there and then she jumps. Like just taking the easy way out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that I definitely want to get better at, but it's difficile. So it's gotten better, but
and some of that's on me, right? You're working against all this backstory that Matt and I have from this campaign we played 10 years ago. All these characters who have a personal connection to John, but not to Asana. So some of that is on me, making sure that I create characters that are interesting to Asana or that will engage Asana or rub you the wrong way. And so there have been times where I've like tried to do that and then you didn't take it, which, and again, going back to I can only think about what I want to improve. It was me thinking, okay, that didn't do it. What makes Asena tick? How can I make sure that these characters are engaging her personal development, her interests, her ideals, her ADD, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, I feel that. But it's getting better, I think, on both parts. So what do you think, Matt?
I think I'm the other side of that coin, actually. I'm really glad that you brought it up. So again, now that we're all saying it, I wasn't going to jump on the what I could improve upon train, but since you both did it, I'll just kind of carry that gravy boat on. I feel like for me, I kind of agree with that. More role play. I love role play. I love rolling dice and doing ludicrous number damage. That's always fun. Or changing a scene based off of a really niche spell description or whatever. Those are always fun things to be able to do. But that's more so me versus Joe, which I the more I play D&D, the less I want to screw over the dungeon master. It's always fun when it happens. I think that's a very it draws in attention. It's so cool to be able to have one of those
It's good content
moments. But I love when Joe can just sit back because you and I are either engaging about something and really like not just bantering about something and like filling airtime, but when you have an interest and I have an interest, it aligns and we're able to just really chew in on it. And I think one of the ways that happens is by having us go to places that John's not familiar with. Every single world we've been to is something that John has history and backstory with. And I've always felt like, this is me moving into the what I can improve upon. I always felt like I had to be like on top of it. I remember originally we had played this game for so long that I felt like I didn't deserve to be John anymore. Like we had built up John Carmichael between Joe and I to be such a cool character that I stopped wanting to play the game with him because I felt like every time I sat down, I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't clever enough. I wasn't charming enough. Like I didn't have the skills to be John the way we built him up in our minds. And so I was so worried coming into doing this idea that we had. And I felt like, okay, you got to be on top of it. So every time we would play, I was working so hard to try to earn being this character, especially considering we were bringing in so many known people between you, Beatdown, and all the guest stars we've had. And, I'm just the schmuck that helps Joe write Anakra stuff, So I felt like I obviously needed to bring in and show like, okay, we've got new people who are new to D&D. I have to show that I'm good at D&D. I have to show that I'm good at role-playing. I'm good at knowing rules and yada, yada, yada. And I felt like my improvement came that I could work on when I kind of just gave up needing to be 100% on top of it and good at the game. And I just kind of started letting myself just have fun with it. Kind of like how you, I think, were saying that you were just trying to have fun with it. And now you're at a point where you're like, I'm now getting good at the game. And I think that we've kind of reversed a little bit. You're going from this place of, I don't really know what to do. And now I'm taking it not more seriously, but I have the tools to be able to really drive in how I want this character to be. You're making active choices for how you want Asena to be. And I'm kind of going, I have to make sure every single thing I do is as good as possible to help my team and to help the stream. And now I'm just showing up, having fun with it and just going along with things and having a good time. And I think that we'll be able to get in that good place to having more of what we all want by going to these new amazing worlds that Joe and I have always talked about going to, but never made it to. And now the three of us can go there together and bring along fun and entertaining guest stars to make it that much more enriched.
I'm going to wait this time to make sure nobody else has anything to say. All right. So we are wrapping up. Looking forward to the future. My last question is, are there any characters that you miss?
Yeah, put me on the spot.
What was that?
I mean,
Where's the character? Where's the character list? Where did it go?
It's in the journal. Everything's in the Roll20
closed
journal.
Roll20.
I didn't know there'd be a quiz.
I wish chat could see the journal because there's
so much in
stuff
there.
in there.
I mean, I have a lot of characters that I miss. I think the go-to is, both Matt and John miss Gaston. That was how we started. That was the way we went into this. And it really, we had built up a dynamic between the three of us that, Janessa and I still have a really cool dynamic with John and Asena. It's definitely taken a bit of a turn that I've really enjoyed. But yeah, I would say that I miss having Gaston there. John definitely misses every single person that he lets down, I would say. When it comes to in roleplay question, there's a lot of John wants to save everybody, and so whenever he can't, it really hits him and thereby me. So Matt says Gaston, John's will specify and say Hara is the person that he misses the most.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hara as well, but I feel like that's also like a very obvious choice for Asena, because her and Hara really connected, especially over the whole dragon thing. So a less obvious choice, I think, would be Nancy Rain.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I think there's still more to explore there, more, definitely some things to tie up, but she was so cool. So there's my answer. Hara and Nancy Rain.
We'll have to fit in some Northport, because like one of our plans is to visit all these different worlds, right? But somewhere in there we got to fit in like going back to Northport to handle this plot line or that plot line, because there's people that we left behind. We can't just do new worlds all the time. So we'll make sure to work that in.
Traverse Town. Well, we'll always make it back to Traverse Town, you know?
All right. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up.
What's the character that you miss? You are all of them.
Damn.
I
Oof.
know. He has to play so many people.
Yeah, my brain is kind of full. that's
He
why.
doesn't miss any of them. They're all still in there with his.
Who's the character you don't miss the most? That might be a little easier than
the
who do you
cab
miss the
driver.
Pickle guy?
No, not the pickle guy. The cab driver.
The cab driver that we always would find and spend inspiration on to make sure that we would screw them over.
Because so every single time that comes up, I'm never ready. I'm never ready for the cab guy. And I have to be like, quick, what have I said? Because I say stuff. When I'm running games, I sometimes just say stuff, right? My spontaneous free form is some of my best work. But then I have to remember all the crap that I said. And so I have to like go, okay, what's the cabbie's personality? What's the cabbie's voice? What's the cabbie's backstory? I know he has a husband. I know that he gets terrorized by these people. Like, so not for any fault on the cabbie's part, but because every time that the cabbie comes up, I'm like, oh God. What nonsense did I say last time?
Dude, I totally know that pain because that's happened to me many times. And I feel like both Janessa and I have caught you out when you have a character that you don't do a lot, but you'll start talking about them and we'll bring up, hey, wait a minute, what about this? And you're like, oh, that's right. I forgot that I mentioned that thing that somehow the player stuck to and remembers that one little thing about this character that now completely changed this entire scene. And I have to work with it because I said it at one point.
Yep. A good DM would stay on top of things, but an adequate DM can at least backtrack. There
are good DMs. They're all adequate. You can't keep track of everything. It's impossible. You have a life.
Nope. All right. I'm wrapping this up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Every single week after the show, we're going to take your questions. We're going to do a recap. We're going to chat like this. So tune in next week. Join us on Discord and be sure to follow us on YouTube if you want to look through the past 95 episodes. We're working on some catch-up content, so you don't have to sit through 300 hours, but do it anyways. And I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you all, and case closed.
14 pounds, I think, ish, off of where I was last time.
In episode 95 of Coriander Society Adventures, John, Asena, Mireth, handmaiden to Princess Adthea, Dargan, and Chester all ventured into the forests outside the elven city of Fluris to retrieve a piece of the flesh of Kor. The way there was difficult and traumatizing, filled with horrifying visions of mutating flesh, rot, and corruption. Asena in particular kept seeing Princess Adthea, but mutated and twisted and something wrong with her. Eventually, they made their way to the very center, to the grove, where John had planted the flesh of Kor as part of an evil tree and left the dryad Benthazel to guard it in exchange for saving her long-lost love from a fate worse than death. Time had taken its toll on Benthazel. She was racked with pain and mental trauma, and our heroes busted in and attacked the tree, which unleashed a whole bunch of corrupted guardians. They were able to overcome them. Althea unleashed some sort of screaming psychic attack in the middle of the battle that nobody really had a chance to analyze. Afterwards, when the heart of the tree burst forth and attacked them, Asena said Dargan could eat that. Turns out the flesh of Kur was inside of it. Dargan started saying some really scary stuff that didn't really sound like him. John made him puke it up. On their way home, safe and sound with Benthazel, taking her and the flesh of Kur back to the city of Fluris, they got a call from Paracelsus, an agent of the Coriander Society, and they've arranged a meeting next Tuesday at an interdimensional place called the Panopticon so that John can finally tell his side of the story. All right, it was a different scuff than normal. All right, it was a scuff that was caused by voice mod being broken, not by the normal scuff. So it's a new and exciting kind of scuff. Take two.
So you're saying we get. This is good because we had to catch up. We were at 95 and now we're at 96.
Soaring over the forests of Perianthony, living spelljammer, our heroes have just returned from the Grove of Benthazel, now another piece of the dreaded flesh of Kur in their possession. Along the way, they received a mysterious phone call, and now as they approach the capital city of Fluris once again, and the delights and luxuries that await them, solace from all the horrors that they have beheld, it is time for our heroes to decide their next course of action. Welcome to Coriander Society Adventures, episode 96. Our heroes are currently in the world of Pyre Space. John and Asena, is there anything else that you wanted to do before you arrived in the city?
No.
Nah, considering our Oh, go ahead.
I was just poking you. I was prompting you. Don't worry about it.
No, considering that we just had a very interesting conversation with a high-ranking member of John's ex-organization. He's kind of not reeling isn't the right word. He's extremely excited by the chance to be able to both explain his actions and is really hoping at the chance to be able to rejoin the organization that is all he knew for a long, long time.
True. In that case, the journey back is swift and relatively uneventful. Princess Althea, uncharacteristically quiet, her familiar Quile on her shoulder. Similarly, upon your return, I'm gonna have each of you roll a deception check for me. Sort of a
Why?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, I see. Yes. Oink, oink. Nothing happened.
Hey, I didn't do so bad.
You didn't.
Yes. 23. Okay. You managed to slip back in without immediately being discovered. And there are no immediate consequences. Althea and Mireth are... Althea is not eager to discuss what just happened. She wants to make her way back to her room for some quiet time to just think about what's gone on in the wide world. The two of you, it's about midday at this... Well, you had a long day. It's probably evening again. The two of you have the entire city to yourselves. If you want, you can just go straight to bed and take a long rest.
Yeah, John's going to look into just checking in on those special orders he made, but I'm assuming since it's only been less than a day, not much progress has been made, and we didn't get a chance to stop by Ithro Kassane's Vale on the way back. So John makes a mental note to attempt to parlay with them at another time.
All right.
Perhaps even send an envoy. Yeah, John's going to go ahead and set up before we go to bed. He'll set up someone in the city that he can trust, someone that's both powerful and respectable. That way, Ithrokasain will realize if they eat them, they're going to be insulting and risking a confrontation with the King of Floris. And afterwards, John's going to send a message to Ithrokasain with his intentions. He'll send multiple messages if necessary, but the crux of it is going to be that he is going to be bartering. John's going to be exchanging a certain amount of material wealth and or items that Ithrokasain would not normally have in their possession in order to attain some of their scales, in order to make the belt for Asena if she so chooses. John's going to be giving on loan a number of items from his bag of holding in order to see if those will appease the dragon of Perianth, and if not, he'll send along some money to take care of it instead.
Are you casting a sending spell to Ithrokasain?
Yes, several if necessary.
Okay. You get a response from Ithrokasain. John Carmichael, much time has passed. Last time you brought delightful trinkets and devices. Do you have any more of those red sticks of destruction?
Oh, God.
He's definitely talking about the glow sticks.
Yes, he's definitely talking about the glow sticks. Mate, John has a lot of dynamite on him right now.
Mm-hmm.
How much dynamite do you think it would take in order to... John's a pretty savvy guy, and considering he's met with Ithrokasain in the past, how much dynamite do you think would be worth getting the scales required for this magic item that he wants to have crafted for Asena?
What was the price of a stick of dynamite? I'm Googling now. What was the price of a stick of dynamite in the 1930s?
It's like chewing gum.
It's just like, no, it's not like chewing gum. We don't want chewing gum. We want good price.
Oh, it's
want expensive
not like
price.
chewing gum.
Yeah, it's like gold chewing gum.
All right. For organizations that blast regularly, a couple of dollars. So one stick of dynamite is one Commonwealth dollar. So now we have to calculate how much does a stick of dynamite weigh?
There you go. Now you're thinking with portals.
Mm-hmm. 190 grams. 190 grams to freedom units. All right.
About
So
Tree City.
one stick of dynamite is about 0.4 pounds. How many pounds of actually? Yeah. So
I'm carrying 500 pounds of dynamite, which is basically a little over 2,000 Commonwealth bucks. That seems odd that I could go buy a dollar would get me, $2 would get me 2 things of dynamite. 2.2 things of dynamite. No, 2.1 things of dynamite.
So
I thought it was $1 for a dynamite. Half
$1 for
pound
0.4. Well,
dynamite.
a dollar per
pound.
dynamite.
Hold on, I'm working the math. Okay, so 500 pounds divided by 0.41 means you've got roughly 1,194 sticks of dynamite, which means that that's about $1,200 of dynamite.
Wow, that's not very much. Are you sure you're doing your math right? You said that a stick of dynamite was a 0.4 of a pound.
Right.
Which means that with 500 pounds of dynamite, that would at least be twice that amount of dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I see. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
I'll post
Gotcha.
it in chat. I'll post it.
No,
chat.
it's fine. It's fine. I get it.
Why are we doing math?
Because he wants to sell dynamite to the dragon in exchange for its scales to make you something
Well,
cool.
I'm hoping to exchange what it wants rather than having to pay for actual value. If dynamite
here's
dynamite
the
is
thing,
$1
Matt.
in Northport. I don't think dynamite's $1 here on
Exactly.
Perianth.
Also, who else is gonna sell this dragon dynamite? That means you can ask
Exactly.
for a premium.
Mm-hmm.
And $1's just the baseline.
Exactly.
Anna has her visor out and her her little running the math, running the numbers.
Exactly my point. So Again, I ask you, mate, how much dynamite should John offer this dragon to get what he needs?
Well, I need to figure out how many scales you need.
Oh gosh. I feel like we had a whole conversation about this.
A plot appropriate amount of scales in order to get this belt.
All right, let's do this, Matt. Add dynamite to scales math to the to-do list. And
Copy that.
Your dynamite is currently on consignment. So until we've run the math, you do not have access to your dynamite.
Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you?
After we've run the math, when we determine how much dynamite you should still have left, so we're not doing math on stream, you can have all the dynamite that remains back. That's the only way I can think of to do this fair.
So, for the belt we're looking for, it would be a very rare Dragonhide belt.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know how much you're judging very rare item in terms of money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we can do exactly. We'll take care of it off stream. How much that's going to be.
Perfect. Just add that to the to-do list. Dynamite on consignment. We'll run the math. And then we'll say, like at the beginning of the stream, your assistant will run up and say, "Excuse me, sir, we have this many pounds of dynamite for you in accordance with local law and the trade agreement that you enacted with the dragon."
Perfect. I'm all about it.
Great.
Hey John, send the dragon this too. And you see Asena like hand over a piece of paper, and it's like a drawing of the golden paper whale.
This can be yours for the low price of give me back my dynamite.
And it says like extremely rare gold.
Oh my god. Okay, so hold on. I see. This is like one of those gotcha moments where we have like 3 different tiers. There's, hey, dragon, if you want bronze tier, I've got some money for you. If you want silver tier, here's a bunch of dynamite. But the gold tier, we have this golden whale. What does it do? Take it and find out.
Asena's out here selling golden whale NFTs.
No, it's not an NFT. This is the promise of an actual deliverable artifact. But also, if you just want the picture, we'll pay for it, and no one else has it but you, except for everyone else we make one for. In which case, you have this one, and you should be happy.
It's actually not fungible because there's only one of them.
Yeah, it's true. Wait, no. John downloads, he scans it, downloads it, and now he makes a million of them on his crazy dual disc that just start appearing everywhere. He assigns them VIN numbers.
Fungible.
We've now made NFTs, and then John immediately kills them all. Trashes though. Screw the blockchain. We have real money, and we don't have time for ether currency. Oh my god, maybe we should make ether currency. You guys should do a blockchain on the Ethernet. That would be
like
pretty crazy.
ethereal currency.
Oh my god, like actual ethereal.
Ethereal. I will say on the in-person game that we did, Janessa, there was a cryptocurrency undead.
Oh.
Oh my
That's
god.
good.
Okay. Nonetheless, working through intermediaries, John contacts the green dragon Irthokasane, who rules over an enchanted vale not too far away from Benthazel's Grove, adjacent to Benthazel's former territory, and makes a deal exchanging dynamite, which he once used to blow up Zuniel's second in command violently, because how else are you gonna blow someone up? The dragon saw a demonstration of that and was like, got any more of that trinitrotoluene? Anyways, that deal.
You remember when we were super huge on thermite? Like, remember thermite was like the thing.
Everyone in high school is like, "Oh, thermite." Yeah. So, aside from consigning out your dynamite for dragon scales to make that cool, awesome item for Asena, and Athea running off to just go ahead and cope, is there anything else that the lot of you have to do today?
John's gonna send along one wooden spoon along with all of this.
I hope you're keeping inventory on where all the spoons are.
Nope, I just have how many are left. That's your job, Ian.
All right, good enough.
Eventually when I've lost like 20 of them, I'm just gonna say, oh yeah, that person has a spoon. And what are you gonna do to stop me? Go back through all the episodes? I don't think so.
No, that is not a thing I'm going to do. Somewhere in the fan wiki, years down the line, there will be an exact accounting of all the spoons, including spoon duplicates and plot holes in the spoon
At
territory.
that point, I will be a damn liar.
For every spoon you have lied about, I will deduct 1 experience point. It'll start to make up for all the times I muted myself.
Yeah, for real.
Sun sets upon the beautiful elven city of Fluris. What else will our heroes do?
If we can check in with Benthazil, I'd like to do that, but honestly, I feel like she's just going to be with healers for a while.
Yeah, druids primarily. Druids with restorative magic, cool, like healing waters, sacred springs, that kind of thing. I would.
Oh, sorry, I do remember. Sorry, go ahead, finish what you were saying.
I'm done.
John has to sneak into the place, so he's going to be going. He has the Flesh of Core. There's no reason why he wouldn't go back to the vault with King and Dogalad, and he's going to have to do what Athea suggested and plant a camera there in order to make sure that we can find out about it. John's going to plant a camera somewhere inconspicuous, and more importantly, he needs to take something. She asked him to take something from the vault.
Okay. So you go to King and Dogalad's throne room and ask him to keep safe this piece of the flesh?
Well, I figure as soon as they get back, he's probably going to meet with John, considering last time when John gave both the pieces that he had, the plan was to have him bring it back because he did this really cool water sealer where it was able, they can study the Flesh of Core and also keep it hidden from Elder sight.
True. Okay. The king meets you once again. And if he noticed that his daughter was out on this adventure, he didn't say anything about it.
What daughter?
He looks concerned for a moment, as if afraid that his own mind has emptied out of that precious memory, and shakes his head. The moment has passed, and beckons you into the very heart of the tree, through secret passages where, at his command, the bark and living wood of the enormous trunk of the tree parts, leading to secret spirals and catacombs within the wood. There, its lifeblood, the sticky sap of this enormous living being, awaits as a trap to ensnare any who do not belong there. But in the company of the Elven King, you descend all the way down to the deep roots. There, you come to an end, a hollow illuminated by fairy lights. And once again, at the king's beckoning, the roots that form a cavern spread apart, revealing the inner hidden vault of King Dogalad and his forbidden knowledge. You've been here once before, but you didn't go inside. You just stood outside while he went in. This time, he takes, I assume that you're encapsulating the piece of flesh in water again?
Yes, John's going to give over the piece of flesh via Mage Hand to Dogalad to also presumably receive via telekinetic means. And while Dogalad is using the ritual in order to seal the Flesh of Core, John is going to, innocuously as possible, if Asena's with him, he's going to have Asena, by previous request, make not a large, but slight distraction, just keeping Dogalad just busy enough in order for him to take something and plant something.
I don't know. Do I have to distract him?
John did make such a request of you.
I didn't know that part.
Just a slight distraction. You don't need to like trip and fall or anything, but while he's busy sealing up, he'll be mostly focused. So if you could just have idle chatter with him, kind of maybe stand in such a way where you're going to be blocking line of sight to me for the most part, that would be help enough. Nothing big.
I'm just gonna stare at him.
I see. Awkwardly stare at him, drawing his attention towards you. Very good.
Yeah. I mean, and if he doesn't notice anything, then all I have to do is stand there. But
Right.
if he does notice, then he's gonna be like, "Why are you staring at me?"
and his attention we focus entirely on you.
Yeah.
Perfect plan. I love it.
We flash back.
Thanks.
Sorry, what?
I said thanks.
With this perfect plan in place, we flash back to the deep vaults, which has an outer and inner chamber. 2 sets of doors. The outer door is what you've seen open before. The inner door you've never seen the inside of, because it's almost like an airlock where he closes the outer and then opens the inner. So he steps into the in-between chamber, bearing the flesh of Kur. And his back is turned to you, Asena, as he prepares to shut the door behind him. John, his back is also turned to you. He's facing the inner door.
Perfect.
The outer door is about to close.
But I mean, he allowed us in last time. Is he allowing us in this time?
You didn't ask to go in last time. Last time, I remember the way that the interaction went down. He just kind of went inside and dropped it off.
No, I was there, right? I was right there with him, standing next to him as he took care of it.
Mm-hmm. All right, then the two.
So
of
is
you
he is he keeping us from coming this time? Because
Nope. But he's not
Okay.
inviting you either.
so John is going to go with him again, not changing tempo from last time. We'll
Mm-hmm.
walk side by side, and unless he says otherwise, he's going to walk with him within the vault and then change off and offer the flesh of Kur once they're safely inside.
Got it. With the outer door sealed and the inner door still shut, he takes possession, floating it in his hand in a sphere of water without touching any of it.
And while he's busy, John is just going to nonchalantly move away from Dogla, putting Asena between himself and the king. Is his, I'm assuming, back to John at this time?
Mm-hmm.
All right. John, utilizing both his magic and technology, he's going to avoid actually doing any kind of field of magic in order to not arouse the senses of Intogla. But since he already summoned his mage hand to pass off the flesh of Kur, not canceling the casting of the spell, he's going to take one of his cameras, one of his spy cameras out from his pack, and he's going to find a position here within the vault where he'd be able to set up such a small, innocuous piece of technology in a location that seems to be gives him enough space to be able to he can see what's happening, but additionally not be out in the open. Something he can hide.
Okay. The door to the inner vault opens. The chamber within is scarcely illuminated by blue lights that seem to dangle from the ceiling like root tendrils. Inside, you can see row after row of bookshelves covered with scrolls, mostly scrolls rather than full-on fledged books. There are pods, not of war, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Pods of vegetable matter that conceal various objects. A pool of burbling something that smells not foul, but it sort of stings your nose. He steps in carefully, and you can see that these vaults down here in the roots of the tree, it's not one big chamber. It's a whole bunch of confusing, winding, organic-seeming tunnels. Give me a perception check to spy out and see if there's a good place you can pop the camera.
All right. Perception 28.
28. Given all the nooks and crannies here, there's absolutely places where you could pop it, probably on the ceiling, and it would be attached and have decent visibility. Actually, with a 28, excellent visibility.
And more importantly, not discoverable. Somewhere where it
Yes,
can be nicely
concealed.
tucked in.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Now roll sleight of hand to launch it quietly.
And again, before I roll this, I want to clarify, aside from this mage hand, John is not using magic to disguise himself, but he is activating his dual disc in order to make some sort of hard light. Again, he's not making like a big, like he normally makes this big, like almost mosaic, perfectly reflecting what they would see of John to try to hide him. He's just kind of obscuring himself ever so subtly, making himself look a little bit hazy to where peripherally it almost makes you invisible if you're not looking directly at them.
All right.
21.
21. You swiftly slip in under the cover of this hologram that you're projecting and install the camera. It clicks on, doesn't even make that noise, silently adheres itself. Asina, you are staring at Indogalad, just according to plan, but you're staring at the back of his head because he's walking into the vault to put the flesh of Kur somewhere.
Yeah.
As you continue to stare, he moves around a bookshelf and out of sight for a moment.
Mate, did he already seal the flesh of Kur away?
He put it in the bubble of water, and now he's sealing it inside one of those plant pods.
Okay. We are in the location that Adthea told us, right? We're in the vault, and this is where she asked me to be?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yep. You have a couple of moments as he finishes sealing it inside of this container, and then he's going to round the corner again and come back into view.
John
She's still just
was-
standing there staring at him.
Perfect. It's going according to plan. Adthea had told John to take something while down here. Mate, what was it that she wanted him to take? I'm assuming it wasn't just anything, like any old thing. There was a particular sort of
It was
object she
any
wanted.
old thing because it's a sympathetic object for scrying, teleportation, defeating.
Oh,
She
okay.
also
It's
wanted
just
you
scrying. Okay.
She also wanted you to analyze any magical defenses on the place.
Okay. Well, while we were making our way in, I'm assuming John would be looking around, and while he's planting it, anytime he can, John's going to do that. But first, he'll take something before being in Dogalad's sight, and then as they're here and leaving, finish his analysis.
Okay. There are scrolls nearby, as well as some wands, not magical, just used for arcane focus. Orbs, also arcane foci. And a clay pot with a wax seal on it. Which of those four things would you want to grab? They're all relatively easy to grab.
Can John activate his wizard sight to try to focus in on Indogalad's register, his arcane register, in order to try to find something that would be most sympathetic to the king?
As you activate your wizard sight, the entire vault suddenly flares up in brilliant blue, like you're looking into the heart of a melted down nuclear reactor.
Oh my.
Yes. Roll an intelligence saving throw, please.
Lovely. Intelligence saving throw, you say. I'm going to roll this, and then don't tell me if it's good, bad, or otherwise. I'm going to... Okay, good. An 18. John is going to roll a deduction die on that. 23 total.
23 total. Okay. The defense here is to shut your eyes before it burns out your wizard sight. Probably temporarily. Probably temporarily, but you quickly realize this is part of this place's defensive mechanisms.
Good. Good.
It's saturated with painful arcane energy that it doesn't affect the skin, but it affects the arcane senses.
Would John would he have had any time to notice anything, or is this a you made the save, which means you immediately shut your eyes?
Roll an Arcana check.
I'm going to use one of my lucky die. I'm going to try that one more time. Okay. John is going to use another deduction die. And that would be a dirty 20. And if it was a failure, I have one more thing if you need me to.
With a dirty 20, you can tell that the majority of the things that resonate with Indogalad are deeper inside. However, all of these things in here have been in the Fleuris family for a long time, a few generations, which in Elven terms is a long time.
Yeah.
There is one other thing that you recognize as you're scanning around. The clay pot with the wax seal has a symbol, not very well inscribed, pretty roughly inscribed on the top of it. It's a series of lines, almost like an upside down pitchfork.
That I recognize that, don't I?
That is the sign of the Pact Malefic.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. How does it have dust on it? Is there?
Yeah, it has dust. It probably hasn't
It's
been
been
messed
here
with
for
a
some
while.
time.
Looks forgotten.
Well, that one, I suppose.
Okay. You quickly swipe that as Indogalad rounds a corner. Well done.
With John's background, mate,
Mhm.
would it make sense for him to, seeing as he is a detective and someone who's used to being within a crime scene, would it make more or less sense for John to take the item and put something else in its place, as if to maybe suggest to someone that maybe they picked it up by mistake and put something else here and it may have just been misplaced, or would it be better just to leave it alone?
You can pick insight or investigation.
In this case, I'm going to use investigation. A 23.
It was out of the way in a corner under a few other things.
Oh, okay.
It's not likely to be noticed.
Perfect. Didn't realize it was, I thought it was in the open. So that's perfect. I'll leave it alone.
Okay. King Indogalad is about to exit the vault back into the antechamber between the two doors that seal off to protect this place. And he's treating this all businesslike, somewhat solemnly, without saying anything to you, and is waiting for you to be out of the way so that he can shut the inner door.
John is just kind of lingering a bit. He's getting one last look around, trying to test for the magical defenses. At this point, the only test he was really able to do was the wizard sight. I would assume that he's just kind of moving around, and he's making it seem as though he's just kind of browsing. Not so much as this is like a magic shop where like, ooh, I would like this or I would like this. It's more so like, wow. And he's honestly like not even making a show of it. He's genuinely impressed by the collection of the Court of Flores and all of this magical wealth and riches that were able to be accumulated over several generations of elven lifetimes. There must be an entire within this vault. He can only imagine the knowledge and power held within here, and the secrets as well. And he's hoping that in the few moments that he has, he's not going to be able to unlock the secrets of this place, but can at least get a sense of what, aside from the burning away of wizard sight, that this place would have by prolonging your stay here.
Well, given your previous Arcana check, it's safe to say that this is protected by a private sanctum spell, which is almost universal for all powerful wizards with secrets to hide. Blocks divination, blocks teleportation, prevents people from seeing in from the outside. You can look it up, Mordenkainen's private sanctum. Like I said, nearly standard. So you're definitely able to glean that much.
Okay. Private sanctum and burning of wizard sight. Anything else I could try to ascertain, or is that about it for now?
Not when he's about to close it, but you do know that the door only opens for him. And he does some sort of gesture to it, but it's likely also coded to the bloodline.
Very good. That's as much as I can do for now.
All right. He will go ahead and shut the door behind him. And as you walk up through the secret passages again, he holds aloft just a little bit of a simple light spell to guide the way. He may have dark vision, but you see better with a little bit of light anyways.
Absolutely.
He's very non-talkative until you emerge back into the back areas of the tree before passing through some curtains back into the more public areas.
Does it seem as though, with John's sense of people, is he specifically trying to avoid speech while he's here, or does he just seem slightly unnerved or distracted?
Distracted. Not unnerved, but definitely distracted. He fiddles a silver ring set with tiny emeralds on his hand as he makes his way up.
He fits like they weren't there previously, but now he just put them on.
No, he wears it like all the time, but he's fiddling with it right now.
He's fiddling with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As he fiddles with his rings before turning off his mage hand, John's just going to use the mage hand to kind of put a hand on Indoglad's shoulder, give him a little squeeze, and if he turns towards him, he's just going to kind of nod and smile at the king.
It's a delayed reaction, but with a very small. I'm royalty and I don't do big emotions most of the time. He returns the gesture appreciatively. And then he is eager to hear tell of fair Benthazel and the trials she faced and how you found her. You can either montage this or roleplay this, your choice.
Well, fair king, she was not in a very good way, as would be obviously apparent. She went slightly mad, maybe more than slightly. The effect of the flesh of gore must have been a obviously powerful thing indeed. Not only was her mind addled with woe, worry, and madness, but physically she is in a dreadful state. Scars and splinters across her body, her flesh cracks, and she appears beyond tired. I can only imagine what she's had to endure these many years, and I'm exceedingly grateful that we were able to finally bring it to an end. I'm only hopeful that with your Majesty's assistance, she can return to a semblance of what she was and put the experience behind her.
We've undone the harm of a twisted tree once before, John Carmichael. I am certain we shall do so once again.
Twice before. This should be the third time, right? Corliss, then John, and now Benthasil.
I cannot say we helped Corliss.
Well, I mean, technically, I helped Corliss by, taking on the burden.
But we would do more than that. We plucked it from you with the spark of a god and bequeathed it upon none. Still it remains bound and harmless.
My king, there is no way to destroy such a thing. It must remain hidden and sealed.
It will remain hidden and sealed until we understand it, and with understanding, a thing can be destroyed.
Does John feel that the king is sincere in what they are saying, or could they possibly be holding on to a reactionary super weapon?
Give me insight.
I do what you ask, and
And
we've
Asana,
got
you're there
a
as well. Give me an insight roll.
Yeah.
dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Also, mate, you said it was a sealed jar with an upside down
A
mark
clay
of,
jar with a wax seal and the sign of the Pact Malefic on it. Very
Thank
dusty.
you.
Hasn't been touched for a long time.
Sorry.
Asana is still staring at King Antonio.
He's going to break one of these days. I just know it. He seems absolutely sincere.
That to Asana, or was that to John?
To John. To Asana, he's avoiding her gaze because he doesn't want to start a staring competition because he'll lose.
So he's just ignoring me?
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea that as they're walking back, his mind is burdened with the power and responsibility of rulership, and he kind of is getting this moment before he sees all his subjects. He's fiddling with himself, kind of just taking this moment. John interrupts him from his reverie by giving him just a slight assurance, and then the entire time, Satan's just staring daggers at him as they're walking through this place.
In cartoon mode, it's like you just see her slide around the corner.
Has anyone seen that meme where that kid is running down the hallway and there's that person just floating? Like, yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes. In Dogalad, Asena, yes. To where will your travels take you next, friends Asena, friend John? Do you continue to seek out the flesh?
Always, Your Majesty. However, we will be taking a slight detour. As I mentioned to you in our previous meeting, we were able to reach out and secure a meeting with an official from my previous organization. Asana
Well,
and I were
technically, he
meeting.
reached out to us, but yeah.
Yes, you're right. That's technically. I figured we wouldn't bog him down with the minutia of it, but you're right. They reached out
Oh.
to us.
Asena, the trap is sprung. When you say that, he turns in your direction to look at you.
I stare again.
Oh, Hypnotoad.
John, you can continue, should you so choose.
Is Tokolad looking back at Asana, or does he turn back to John?
He's looking back at Asena.
John just kind of awkwardly stares there for a moment as he's kind of trails off in his explanation, looking between the two of them. And he recalls back to the time that when John first met Ndogalad, they shared a wizard sight that had them bore into each other's souls. And he can only imagine what such an experience would be like with Asana. And after a few long, drawn-out moments, John's going to continue. Yes, in any case, we are meeting with an official from my previous organization. We're going to neutral ground, and I can only hope that such a thing is as earnest as they've suggested, and not merely a trap with which to capture us. That being said, my lord, if you wouldn't mind, in about, and John's going to give him about 12-hour time frame after their meeting is supposed to take place, if you could just send me a message, and if you don't get a response, I'm not certain where in the universe I will be, but I'd like you to have this. John's going to give him one of his socks. It's been washed, I assure you. But if you could use this to find me, I would take it as the highest compliment that my services could still be of use to you if you would rescue me from whatever predicament Sana and I found ourselves in. I think I just saw a ghost. That's Matt, not John.
I cannot speak to the ways of elves of other worlds you may have visited, John. But here, we are free to do as we choose, and need not be set loose by a gift of clothing.
Did he actually say that, mate, or are you just trolling
I'm
me?
shitposting.
Okay, good. Thank you.
He's giving Ndogalad a sock.
God, the memes. The memes.
All right, he will go ahead and take the sock and agree to cast a sending spell to just say, you good in 12 hours.
And unless there's anything else that the King of the Court of Flores requires, John wants to take his rest, and then as long as Asena doesn't require anything else, they're going to, I was presumably, head to the meeting spot.
No, you are free to go with the blessing of all Flores, and should you seek safe refuge for the flesh within the vaults of this tree, the power of our house shall keep it safe.
As always, you're ever too kind and generous, my lord.
All right, the two of you gain the benefits of a long rest if you haven't already. Benthazel will be left here within their custody, and you have a ticket to the Panopticon, which is an interdimensional meeting place that's meant to be safe because nobody can pull tricks on anybody there, because Panopticon means all-seeing.
While you've taken a yawn, mate, when we awaken from our slumber, John is going to activate his trap card, Triple Threat. And when they awaken, John is going to put on a little show for Asena and for their charges, both Chester and Dargan. And as much as necessary, I'll in real life do with any amount of singing, dancing, and or acting you need of me. But as part of his 10-minute preparation to embolden his allies and give them his inspiring leader bonus, John is going to put on a little show utilizing his hard light dual disc. He's going to display in as quickly as possible a small little 3-act show when 1-2 Punch was formed, when John came to Yord and met with Asena and Gaston, going on their adventures, culminating in the climax when they were able to defeat that which had been so desperately trying to take down Asena and Gaston on Yord, and now their adventures as they lost one of their companions ever since, moving towards the Flesh of Gore in order to save all of life across the universe.
So, triple threat, I'm only going to give you one of the three right now.
Fine, understandable.
Which one do you want to go for? Singing, acting, or dancing?
Let's say acting at this point. That makes the most sense, I think.
Okay, roll performance check to deliver the entire story. Chester is just sitting there like, yes, I was there. I was there the entire time.
A 22.
Dargan wants to know if he can eat John, Asena.
What? Why?
The 22? Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Why? Why do you want to eat John?
We are not sure.
What do you mean you're not sure?
We have witnessed the story of your journeys. We desire to understand better. Can we eat him?
Are you gonna understand him by eating him?
Yes.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Have you ever tried?
I've eaten things.
And by eating, you understand them better.
Maybe what they're made out of.
Yes.
No, you can't eat John.
Fine.
Is John within earshot of this?
Yes.
Dargan, what about a slight amount of understanding? I can't allow you, as Asena has very, very rightfully supported, you can't eat all of me, but would a small sampling suffice in satiating your curiosity?
We do not want scraps. We are bored
Well,
now.
then-
We will do something else.
I was gonna say then you get nothing.
You lose. Good day, sir.
Good day, sir. And John summons a hard light door, slams it, and then walks.
Okay, now you, for that slamming the door, you get the acting from Triple Threat.
Oh, good. Thank you. That's all it took.
All right. The ticket that you got on your phone is a QR code that's actually a teleportation circle and also something you can focus on in the astral. The Panopticon can be accessed through the astral, either by casting teleportation circle once you're there, or by focusing on it. One way or another, it's easy for you to get to the astral. There's a wide varieties of ways that you can do that. You'll probably have to expend some sort of resource. What is your plan to reach the Panopticon?
We have to get there.
It's in the astral plane.
They didn't provide travel.
Well, I suppose I can just cast any old teleportation spell and you can take us to the astral, Asena. We'll hop on Rocco and make our way there, as we always do when we're in that place.
You know, do you think Rocco's necessary?
Do I are you having a laugh?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying Rocco's bad or anything. It's just like I think we can move without Rocco. I do like the safety that he provides.
No, I mean you're technically correct. I mean I think that there's quite a lot of security that Rocco offers us, but no, I mean you're right. As long as we don't mind having to deal with what the Astral will throw at us, then no, Rocco's not required in the slightest.
So we just use Rocco as a big shield.
Effectively, yes, it's a very subversive mode of transportation to ensure that we are as least harassed as possible as we make our way through that large infinite expanse. That being said, we encountered an Empyrean and absolutely destroyed it. We fought an entire group, a pack of mind flayers with their elder brain. Technically, I don't think there's much in the cosmos aside from something that we're not expecting. that can, well, as long as we're properly prepared, I think that we can handle just about anything that life can throw at us.
It was just a question.
Do you want to continue exploring the expanse of the astral plane without Rocco?
No.
Okay, good. Well, then, are you ready to go?
Yes.
Then let us hold hands. And John will create a circle with chalk. He'll begin tracing the signs of his spell. He's going to put in all the grandeur that makes this seem like it's going to be an absolutely impressive display. And then he's just going to cast, let's see, what's one of the lowest level spells he has prepared that can pull this off. Gosh, it's not very low level. I guess Dimension Door, that's as good as he can do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, Asena, I assume that you're going to go ahead and jump out of that brief conduit that's barely formed between point A and point B and shove your way into the
Yeah.
astral. All right. Welcome back.
Are we able to, I forget, are we able to focus on, or rather, this is Asena's doing, is she able to focus on Rocco when we head here, or is it entirely random?
You're able to focus on Rocco. Rocco counts as a place that you're very familiar with.
Oh, perfect. Yes, I thought so.
Assuming you want to go to Rocco.
We're going to Rocco.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Rocco it is.
Each of you roll 1d6, please.
I think we're rolling low, is the hope. Well, shit.
A 4 and...
And a 3.
All right.
Okay.
It's going to take you 7 hours to make your way
That was solidly average.
there. Show me 7.
Yeah.
Okay. As you float your way through the infinite astral sea, Asena, you recall your most recent encounter within the depths of a addled dream state. Somewhere out there is Goltharius' hidden lair, his refuge.
Hey, mate. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's coming through kind of garbled.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Do I just need to speak up?
It went from being kind of...
I think it was a network thing.
Yeah,
Ah.
probably.
Anyways, Asena, the last time that you were here in your mind, you experienced Goltharius' home, and you know that he's somewhere out here. And all you have to
Yeah.
do is focus on that.
Can I focus on, like, think about, I mean, do we have like a physical invite to this panopticon, or
Well, it's digital, but it's sort of got the idea embedded in it. So if you haven't gone to Rocco yet, it's going to take you 7 hours to reach Rocco, or you
Oh,
can just
right.
start heading to the place already, and it counts as a place that you have studied carefully because you have a link to it.
But
I
we
wanna
technically
do-
don't know how long it would take, right?
Correct.
I want to do all of the above.
All right, if you think about more than one thing, you're just sort of gonna...
No. Like, I'm thinking about Rocco,
Mhm.
and then, like, once I've done that for 5 minutes, I'm gonna think about the invite, or like ponder about where the panopticon can be, and see if I'm being pulled in a different direction.
Perfect. Good idea.
And then I'm gonna think about Goltharius. I'm just like gonna see, like, am I being pulled in different directions?
They're all going the same place. Like, oh my god.
Right.
Okay. Oddly enough, the Panopticon feels closer
Oh.
than Rocco.
Hmm.
You are
Okay.
being pulled in 3 completely different directions. The Panopticon feels the closest, then Rocco, and then Goltharius far at the edges of your consciousness in a completely
Oh,
different
wow.
direction.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Well, if we can ascertain that it's closer to go to the Panopticon, then yeah, I think it makes more sense to go there.
Yeah, you just see Asena like stop and start like going one way and then going the other way.
John just kind of like floats. He takes out a book and just kind of begins reading. And it's just kind of floating there with Chester. He's just kind of idly scratching Chester as they kind of float around.
What are you reading about?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
It's an older meme, sir, but it checks out. No, what are you reading about? You don't have to be too specific.
John is actually trying to do research on how to create that magical nuke that he discovered in Yichak's palace. He's basically trying to make sure he can collect as much data as possible, so when next they see Gaston, he's going to be able to get his assistance with the tech aspect of what is needed.
Okay, roll an intelligence check.
I mean, John already has a pretty good handle on tech, but Gaston has a mastery of it.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligence, you say? No specific skill, just intelligence check. Copy that. Am I able to utilize... is it still a skill check? Do I still get to use like my deduction dice and stuff with this?
Sure.
All right. John is going to go ahead and use one of his lucky die in order to re-roll that. And then he's going to utilize a deduction die in order to hopefully just crush this thing. Well, feck. That's a 24, and if it wasn't good enough, I have something else in the back pocket.
John, as you start reading and thinking about it, you feel yourself floating in a different direction.
Interesting. How far does that seem to feel?
You don't have the same sensitivity to the astral that Asena does. She can tell rough distances or time distances. You don't have that innate connection.
As John is just idly sitting there reading, where does he seem to be floating? Is it closer to Gotharius's position? Is it closer to the Draco's position?
Completely
or is it
separate.
From all three of them?
Mm-hmm. You got to remember, the astral isn't like, you can't really 3D map the astral because it's driven by thought, ideas, and concepts. Directions are almost meaningless. It's more focusing on the thing that matters.
Now, wait, hold on a moment. If directions are meaningless, then why can Rocco be any closer to the Panopticon than Gotharius?
Well, because I rolled to see the travel time to each of them, and I randomly rolled Panopticon the lowest.
And what of this one, whatever this is?
You don't get that. Like, normally you don't get any of that information. Asena gets that information because she's Asena.
I understand. I'm just... So it doesn't line up with any of that. It's not pulling in any of the directions she's moving. Okay.
Correct.
Need to know.
Those thoughts are pulling you in a different direction. The direction you could focus on, obviously.
John is not focusing on that. John is reading idly, and he realizes he's being pulled. He ignores it because it's not anywhere that Asena seems to be getting pulled, and he's not going to distract Asena.
All right, then. Asena, where are you leading the team?
How's about a shortcut? And you see her headed towards the Panopticon place. She just switches directions and hopes they follow.
Dargan is obviously following.
Yeah, John's going to just continue floating. He realizes that since, again, movement is kind of moot here, he's not going to assume a Superman stance, which he usually does when flying to this place. And he's just going to kind of like gently lay there, kind of spinning in place as he's just reading.
Okay. And they begin soaring through the Silver Sea.
Oh, you know what? Is John able to read while concentrating, mate?
Not like hardcore in depth. So if it's super difficult stuff, no.
Okay, well with a 24, is he able to continue reading while doing this?
Yeah.
All right. It's nothing insane. John is just going to consistently make sure that he has silent image up. It lasts for 10 minutes at a time, so he'll just reconcentrate when he has to. And for a 15-foot cube around them, he's going to make Rocco.
Fake Rocco, got it.
Yeah, he's gonna put a fake Rocco around him. So to all of us,
This is why
we
he's
can see
not
the highlight.
concerned.
Yeah, we see we have a fake Rocco that we all can kind of see through around us, but to everyone looking out, there's a copy of our most beautiful and famous rock.
After 6 hours, you see a spinning pool of color in the distance. It's red, almost like a velvety red. In fact, it almost has the texture of velvet, like a piece of cloth swirling instead of a pool of liquid. When you think about the Panopticon, you're being pulled in that direction.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well,
All you have
I
to do is
assume.
pass through it. It's your choice.
Well, I guess we should assume position, right, Asena?
Let's go through the swirly thing. It
Exactly
calls to
that.
me.
And John's going to take hold of Asena's hand, make sure that Chester's wrapped around his arm, and is hoping that Dragon is holding on to something of them as they pass through.
Okay. The exhilarating, skin-tingling menthol sensation of the astral sea vanishes as you pass through the color pool.
I love going to these color pools.
On the other side, it's bright, but not shearingly bright. Sort of a warm illumination everywhere. Gravity reasserts itself, and you smell something mouth-watering, delicious. Salt, butter, and it's just wafting up. And a glance behind, the color pool is gone, replaced by a set of doors. Big old ornate doors, sort of brass along the sides, and then glass in between. There's carpet beneath your feet, red but with sort of a diamond pattern to it. The light is being cast by gas lamps hanging from the walls. This chamber is beautifully made with carved wood everywhere that you go, and there's a counter in front of you. Nobody's behind it. There's a couple of red velvet queue lines weaving back and forth, and hallways leading off to either side. Behind the counter is a machine making popcorn. An old-fashioned popcorn machine. Just the place looks utterly deserted.
A popcorn machine and it is deserted queue line?
Yeah, you're in a movie theater.
Oh.
But like an old movie theater, like a golden age of
Old-timey.
cinema movie theater. And there's no one else here.
You want some popcorn?
Actually, yes. Yes, I would. Also, I'd like to know what the deal is here.
What do you mean the deal?
Well, there must
Like
be
a
some sort of
2-for-1
trick.
deal.
On popcorn, yes. Mate, there's no attendance even, right? Near the popcorn?
There's nobody here. Give me a perception check, both of you, please.
And I'm sure the perception check is going to confirm this, but when you say no one here, do you mean nobody like in this planet, like even the sights, sounds, and smells of people, creatures, and things are gone, or just in this immediate vicinity of the megaplex?
You don't see anybody. And again, megaplex is a modern word. This is an old theater where like
Okay, fine, theater.
like think the Balboa Theater in downtown San Diego, except it's obviously got movie projections, right? So it's this old, ornate, everything seems quiet, except that they're down one of the two hallways out to the actual theaters. One of the doors is slightly open, and you can hear music coming through that door.
Should we popcorn first and then investigate, or should we check out the music first, Asena?
I think we're supposed to get popcorn.
Before going to the show, you're right. Absolutely.
They might think it rude. Plus, I wouldn't mind popcorn.
I'm gonna go along with what you're saying. I think that we might be bordering along the edge of rudeness by either taking without permission. But I like your style. I think we'll leave some money on the counter, take what we need, and then we'll find out what's playing. It's their fault for not having attendance here. Ready, right?
Uh, yeah, maybe they're the rude ones.
I'm happy with that. Let's do it. And if Asena hasn't already made their way towards the popcorn, John is going to either follow them or begin walking in that direction.
Okay. There's all the implements are there, the butter that you can pour all over it, salt, none of the modern seasonings. Again, it's very old fashioned, all things considered. Asena, you
Yes.
notice Dargan slinking along the floor like a snake behind the counter.
Tarkin, do you want popcorn?
Yes.
You can just ask for popcorn.
Popcorn?
Can I throw him some pieces?
Yes.
And it was said, let there be popcorn. And so the popcorn was presented.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna get a big old scoop and just throw it at his face.
While
I'm
Asena
pretty
and-
sure this is magic popcorn and it's never gonna run out ever.
We will test
But I also
this
just made
theory.
that up.
We are prepared to test this theory.
Yeah, it's not guarded or anything, so by all means, this is actual food.
Okay. He is going to, after the two of you have been served, you see him forcing his head into the machine and just with his tongue slathering around on the inside of it, picking up all the excess grease and stuff.
John's just watching this in near abject horror, just kind of one little bit of popcorn at a time. And as he's crunching, the sound of his bites cannot be heard over the commotion that Dargan's creating. He is going to kind of look around and just, hello. We were summoned here. Just making sure this is fine. We're going to take our popcorn, leave an IOU. John finishes writing up a ticket that says IOU, John Carmichael, and just sets it on the table. We're going to investigate the music now. If you have anything to say about what's happening, speak now, or you just lost a lot of popcorn.
You don't hear any objections.
Very good.
Down the hall into Cinema Theater number 1.
Numero. Oh, look at
And lo,
that.
you find yourselves in an enormous theater.
Oh, cool. Wow, that's really big.
The projector is blank. You can see vague movement and like an old-time film reel that's at the end.
Yeah.
And you can hear music playing over the background. And you see, sitting in the very front row, a figure with curly red hair, a fuzzy hat, and a big bag of popcorn.
Well, John's just going to start striding over to go sit with them.
As you start walking, the image being projected changes. And now you're looking at yourselves.
Yeah, I figured.
It's as if the projector is a huge mirror, though it is not. And so everybody can clearly see everyone else. Paracelsus just lifts a hand and sort of waves.
Hello?
And gestures for you to come down the aisle.
John looks back at Asena. Hey, I'd like to test something while we're here. Can you?
Oh, yes. I mean, yes. Testing.
I want to find out if what we say to each other here is going to appear as subtitles on the screen, or if we're entirely amongst ourselves in this place.
As this is going through your heads, the subtitles are appearing on the screen.
Yeah, that's about right.
How did you know that was gonna happen?
Because it would be cool. That's why.
Okay.
And John's going to end it. Unless Asena keeps talking, in which case John's not going to end it. He's just going to keep hearing it.
You see Paracelsus just continuing to eat piece after piece.
Well, at least we know no one's in his mind. At least not right now.
I always did like the front row. Bit of a creak of the neck, but well worth it.
John stands behind Paracelsus, just kind of in that weird, I'm not right next to you, but I'm not directly behind you. I'm in like your periphery. You know, the more modern cinemas, I think the front gets way too close. But yeah, I think this is about a good spot right here. Sir, would you like us to sit amongst you, or can we just pick anywhere we'd like?
Please, we have the whole place to ourselves.
John will sit down across the aisle from him, but in the same row.
Dargan has detected discarded popcorn on the floor and is now working his way through the... And he's, again, fairly large, right? He's as big as a person. And so you can hear the chairs going... Thunk, thunk, thunk.
I kind of imagine him like almost the size of one of those raptors from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Asena, right?
Yes.
Very
She's not
pleased.
sitting in a seat. She's just like up in front.
Very pleased to make your acquaintance.
Thanks.
Well, you found this place without much trouble. I don't suppose I should have expected anything less. Wow.
Yeah, was there like directions? Because I just kind of thought about it and that we were here.
That's as good as direction as any.
It'd probably be hard for most people.
Are you most people? I think not. So, how's your day?
Why'd you call us here?
Because there are no secrets in the Panopticon. No hidden blades, no snipers, no traps, no misconstrued truths. And for somebody with the reputation like the two of you, I thought that might be best.
Because you don't trust us.
How many people have tried to kill you?
None that I know of.
Really? That is odd given how many people you have killed.
Exactly.
Beside the point. The point is, I thought it would be best to meet the two of you in a place where if I tried anything, you could see it right away, because that would probably be the least likely way for you to try to kill me.
Oh, like you thought that we thought that you were gonna kill us?
Might have
That
crossed your
didn't
mind.
cross my mind at all. I get it, though. I get it.
He's looking in the projection at John.
John just looks back and shrugs.
He probably thought about it because he thinks a lot.
Well, with everything that's happened, he would have to.
I don't know. He was a little excited to be here.
Say that.
You were. Sorry. I thought this was a place of no secrets.
You're not wrong. As my colleague has said, sir, I am beyond elated to have a chance to speak with you without coming into custody first.
Well, after we get finished talking, we'll see if that's still the case.
Well, let me be quite frank, sir. If things don't end the way that I expect during this meeting, you're likely never going to see us again. And if you do, it won't be here. And it won't be for long. Do you catch my meaning?
I'll bet you a bag of popcorn you're wrong.
I'll bet you a bag of popcorn you're used to being right.
I thought the popcorn was free.
It is. That's the best part of all this.
In any case, thinly veiled threats aside, sir, I am very happy to be here. And I believe this is going to take quite a while. I would assume, since you've packed in for a movie, you wouldn't mind another story of a sort. There will be an intermission because it's going to take quite a while.
That's exactly why I'm here. And speaking of intermission, Coriander Society Adventures will return momentarily. Don't go anywhere.
We're magic users. We don't need a fucking sword to go through planes. We just wish our way there. We're spellcasters.
Yeah, I'm not thinking of the magical I'm thinking of the stabby properties.
I don't have any stabby things, but
Yeah,
we could just blast them.
and my last stabby thing I put in Mantra's mouth.
That, you know,
Good night, everybody.
How many?
Oh, the instant regret sentence.
The emotional roller coaster of this episode is breaking my brain.
Ariana's like also entertaining this as well as she's like going back and forth with Garnet about all these different possibilities of like, oh yeah, no, what if Uncle is eternal?
What?
Mason speaks up. It's
Like,
like,
just
well,
random stuff.
both of your brains are already in the right place for this. This is going to go great. I'm really looking forward to it. More so now, actually.
Good.
Okay, let's go find Ethelure.
Ariana has like visibly perked up a lot from this conversation. Having a hard day in classes, hard day at school, but ooh, more day now. Hold
you
on
have
a
ghosts in
second.
your blood and you should do cocaine about it.
Yes.
Seems like pieces of the Herald. It is a dream toxin. It has contaminated this entire room everywhere that it's spread to poison the dream world in this proximity.
I slap Sage in the face to break her concentration.
Oh no.
And I whisper to Mason, I've always wanted to do that.
It looked like it. That was a hard slap.
Think so.
Oh my god! It's hot! Oh, I'm gonna stop you so. Oh, it's so hot! I don't like this at all!
Genuinely scared.
Genuinely what?
Scared.
My apologies.
Oh, we're gonna grind your bones to dust and then we'll lick it with our tongue. And every time we put you in the oven, we're gonna make it grow and get so yummy. It's gonna be good. We're gonna be tasty, just like we should. You're gonna die.
Alex melts away and vanishes, replaced by Cyrus.
In handcuffs?
Yes.
Yo.
Yes.
He
Except that his eyes are wrong. They're filled with piercing blue light.
Oh damn, this room is about to get good.
got blue eyes too.
Arbiter,
Yes, Grandmaster.
you get to jump in on this one.
I come in hot, white, glowing wings flared out. I've got the cheapest metal chair that you could possibly find. It's like I've got 10 or 20 years of repressed rage behind this chair. I'm rolling to hit with this chair. Oh, that's good. That's good. That'll hit. That's 16.
I love you, and I always have. Even though you killed me, I thought our relationship would grow into something so beautiful that neither of us would be able to stop that love or passion.
Wait, hold on. Just wait, don't go into the light yet. Like, hold him like up my arms as he's on fire. Oh god, this kind of hurts a little bit. We could have been friends. We really could have. But I just want you to know that even in your death, you will be remembered because I have a new line of cryptocurrency coming out.
Wait, you what?
They're called NF trinkets.
Oh god, fucking kill me now, please.
Do you ever feel like the luck or whatever it is that's gotten you forward is going to run out at some point? Or that you can just keep going forward?
I'm pretty worried about myself all the time, but I consider Garnet a protagonist, so generally she's okay.
What? We're all main characters, and
So you're like the main character. Garnet, you know?
We're all the main characters of this story, okay? Fourth wall just punching. It like touches Athlor's elven armor. See, this is plot armor.
Okay, good point.
It is easy to see it more accurately from outside of the situation than inside of the situation.
Right.
I suppose that's why you have the friends that you have around you.
Kind of like claps her hands together. One of my favorite sayings is trash can, not trash cannot. So just do it.
Didn't realize your level up gave you an extra level in philosopher.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
I honestly have very little confidence in saying I understand what you mean by that.
Okay. Just do it.
Understandable. Have a nice freestyle.
Okay, everyone, just believe in yourself, okay? You need to be able to just stretch your bony little arms out and let go of Bolshaya. Richard Simmons, by the way, in case no one realizes what I'm doing. And I'm going to hit some persuasion.
Yeah, I'm not going to do
Perception, you
better.
said?
Perception. 22.
Oh, there
All
we
right.
go.
I'm going to go ahead and simulate what happens here real quick.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Ah, shiver me timbers!
Well, yeah.
Oh shit. Alright, I think it's time to go check on Deadeye then, eh?
The wolf, listen.
If you'll allow it.
If you allow it, I like to skin the wolf's head and place it on Mr. Sir Thomas to disguise him poorly as not a cow.
You're just making him wear stinky skin.
Like a mask. Like a mask. Mask off. Fucking mask off. Yeah, like that. It's so close.
It's a werecow. Okay. You can certainly try. We're gonna go ahead and leave you cheerfully peeling the face off of this dead wolf. So that you can stick it on your cow's head. And I'm going to just drop that mental image with everybody. They call out to her in Draconic, and she responds.
Oh. Wait, do I also see Sventisco for a brief second through the orb?
Roll a perception check.
Alright.
No, you just see this guard walk out.
What do they say to her?
You been there the entire time? No. And she got a natural one, and she says, Sventisco. I mean, no.
She says her own name like a Pokemon?
Yes.
Oh, no.
I need everybody in the room to roll for initiative.
Oh.
Damn, that's so rough.
That's, she got a natural one. I decided she just freaking panicked.
She's trying her best, okay?
And she rolled a 2
Don't
on the
make fun of
initiative,
her.
so she sits there like an idiot.
You have no idea what's going through her head right now. If you were perhaps a little bit more perceptive, you would see the face of somebody who never wanted to be a mother, who never planned to be a mother, who's dedicated her life to gathering power so that she's never in a position where she's vulnerable again and where she won't be used for anyone else's purposes ever again, and yet finds herself having to talk to this teenager about drugs. Like, never anticipated this and is now trying to figure out the best way to go about it. Okay.
When a mummy drug and a daddy drug love each other very much.
Okay.
They do a special cuddle.
Shut up, Like Day.
Small girls, just checking.
And that is why Dargan is eating all the popcorn.
Yeah.
After sitting through probably a few hours of hearing out our hero's tale, during which time did they leave out anything? Did they emphasize anything? Are there any nuances to the telling of your tale that you wish to modify as you speak with Paracelsus?
I think that from John's angle, he's going to give it to him straight. He's going to be very clear that, especially early on, he was doing everything very reactionary. As he continued on, he was very hopeful, doing only what he had to do to secure his way back home. And afterwards, giving up hope was just living out his time until eventually meeting up with the rest of 1-2 Punch, and now their most recent adventures, in which there has been many hijinks, miscommunications of who is and isn't allies, enemies, whatnot, and their current quest.
By this point, Paracelsus' popcorn bag is about, there's only 1/3 left, and he's sort of picking out the dead kernels that didn't pop. And he doesn't say it, but the subtitles appear. You'd think in an extra-dimensional movie theater there wouldn't be any dead kernels. Well, that explains a lot.
Can I tell Dargan? Hey Dargan, that reminds me. Maybe if you like fire breathe on some of the dead ones, that they'll turn into popcorn.
When Paracelsus hears that, he takes his popcorn and he just flings the bag, like he just hurls it, and it goes over his shoulder, and little bits and pieces fly everywhere. Don't damage the upholstery, please. Thank you.
Just little ones.
Dargan whispers in the confines of your mind, and the words appear on the screen. Can I eat the new one? No.
The new popcorn. Only popcorn.
Fine. Munch, munch, munch. With the popcorn that was in his hands now gone, Paracelsus sort of steeples his fingers together and taps them a few times. And well, you've done all the talking so far.
Indeed, we have.
Yeah. So did I presume you got some questions on your side, assuming you even know what they are.
Well, first and foremost, I think we'd like to know your opinion of this tale, but beyond that, I have a personal question.
My opinion is that it explains a lot.
I can imagine. If there was a way for you to be able to track down a wayward agent such as myself, why did no one come looking for me before it was discovered that I may be connected to some interdimensional plan to unleash this dragon across the cosmos?
Yeah, we did. We did. You have to understand there's a lot of universes out there. It's, imagine a needle and a haystack of needles on a planet of needles. That sort of thing. Now, I know the seekers we sent out, well, no, they brought seekers with them, were quite good at tracking you down, but that was only once they sort of knew where to look for you. But in the rest of it, it took us some time to figure out that you weren't dead.
And from the time it took you to discover I wasn't dead until the time it took you to send seekers to find me, when did you go from being worried about your wayward son to hunting them down because they were apparently trying to undo the multiverse?
Almost immediately. There's a reason for that. There's a lot of reasons for that. But before we talk about that, was that really a personal question? That didn't seem too personal. That seemed more relevant to you, but not personal in the traditional sense.
Yeah, that was pretty personal, sir. Considering I was the person lost. And
in this case, it would be it's not personal, it's just business. I think that's the traditional response to that one. Never mind. Sorry, I'm not always the best at this sort of thing.
Yeah, you're worse than I am, sir.
See, it's funny that you should say that. After all, why would they send old Paracelsus out of touch, a bwomber, I think the youth would call me, a bwomber, completely out of touch with everything, there's all these newfangled things. Why would they send him out to talk with rogue agent John Carmichael and the dragon punchy lady? That's an odd choice, don't you think?
I suppose it would depend on what you're here for.
Yes. Well, they didn't.
And you're insinuating that this meeting is off.
Didn't send me. They did not send me. The Coriander Society did not send me.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
No.
So
no,
you're
that's fair.
rogue?
Rogue is a very, very murky term at the moment. I'd say I'm no more rogue than Mr. Carmichael.
Well, I thought Mr. Carmichael. That's weird to say. I thought John here
right?
was like 100% confirmed rogue.
Well, he just told us he never stopped doing the job. It's just that he was now doing the job somewhere else under different circumstances, without contact with the society, while being hunted down as a fugitive. So you ask the society, yes. You ask John, no.
But now you're just saying that they just forgot about him? That sounds like way less exciting.
Forget about him. It just took them forever to find him.
They thought he was dead.
Right. Well, we couldn't exactly do a forensic analysis of the crime scene.
I think what Mr. Paracelsus is trying to say is that there was no reason to believe that a one John Carmichael would have survived such an encounter with the Pack Malefict, and it was only after doing their due diligence, collecting the evidence, that they began to realize that not only did this rogue agent, or rather this missing agent, leave, but they were rogue with one of the most dangerous artifacts in possession, and immediately thought that such a person would have had to have made a deal rather than somehow, clever or otherwise, devised a way to get away from this dangerous group. Is that right, sir?
Close enough. Would you like me to be helpful? I think it'd be helpful if I was helpful.
I mean, obviously so, sir. That's why we came here.
Right. Right.
How do you propose to offer such help?
Well, I need you to help me so I can help you.
Where have I heard this before? Oh, yeah. Absolutely everywhere.
That's the way of the worlds, isn't it?
Plural. Yes, you're right. Go on.
No, John, your track record as an agent back on Earth. I know your career wasn't that far along yet, but your file was very highly recommended. Lots to I'd say lots to suggest that you would find a way to survive this sort of thing without selling your soul and threatening the integrity of the entire multiverse and blah, 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 blah. That's not the tale that made it out of headquarters, wherever that might be. In fact, I'd say just after that entire incident, the lot of tales started changing, John.
Do you mind sharing with us such things, sir?
Strange orders from up the chain. Everybody just immediately certain that you'd gone traitor. Attempts to investigate the city beneath Boston shut down, sites cleaned up, agents reassigned.
Did they ever replace the Boston Lodge?
Yes, but your old handler didn't have too much of a choice in who got picked up for it.
How are they, by the way? How do they take the team's disappearance and death in terms of Maxwell?
Well, it's not that we ever... I mean, it took a while for us to figure out what happened to the rest of them, and by that time there was already a new team established, and the old Boston handler with his entire team gone was reassigned.
Really?
Yes, he's not in charge of the Boston team anymore. I don't know where they put him. Pushing papers, vanished with a black bag over his head.
That bad, really?
The society is compromised. And I think it has everything to do with your last mission, John.
The cyst. Do you think they infiltrated the society?
I can't think
One of them was
else.
able to do that, as far as I if I recall correctly. They had an assassin. They had a crazy man. They had
Don't we all?
Yeah, obviously, but I mean a really, really crazy man. They had a lich, and they had a, I don't know if you could call it a man, a person of many faces.
Yeah, we lost track of every single one of them after that. But I don't think they lost track of us, John. I think... In fact, with everything you've told me now, I am certain that the entire reason you've been hunted this entire time is not because our whole society is incompetent, but because powerful people wanted it to be that way.
God, why did I hadn't even, I'm going to be honest, I hadn't even considered that. Everything everything after that incident, I just kind of blocked out. I figured I'd come home and deal with it. It would be, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was a little worried there'd be no home to come back to, but God, I never thought they'd do something so insidious. But it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense for the Pact Malefic to, they're lost. They went somewhere without a way to return to what they are known. So what would they do? The next best thing to take over S.H.I.E.L.D., obviously. If Hydra has nowhere to go back to, take over S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
What?
You're from Earth. You don't get that. No one ever gets my references.
Are we talking a Lernian Hydra or the fire-breathing type? And I don't understand what they have to do with this.
Nothing. Don't worry about it. In any case.
This is one of those marvelous things, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I mostly only attend theaters like this. Too much of the computer-generated stuff. My eyes don't like it.
Oh. You and I would not get along, sir. I mean, at least beyond the bounds of, what you're used to. In any case, you offered help, and I'm more than happy that you shared what you have, but you said that we need to help you in order for you to help us. What does something like that entail?
Well, right now, we don't very much know who we can trust. But after everything that I've heard in this place, and all the theories I've put together myself over the years, and what befell the folks I sent after you, I think we can very much say that you can be trusted. Both of you. And the first thing we need to do is to make sure that we keep each other safe. Because there aren't very many of us. And so what I need is for the two of you to extract Hank McCarthy.
Okay. I mean, I'm not just saying okay, I'm just saying, like, that could have already been on our list.
Right. So if we could move that up the list a little bit.
Why?
Well, because based on everything you've just told me, he's currently under the auspices of the enemy. This general you talked about, member of the Pact Malefic. And I know I can trust Hank. It's a very short list of people I can trust, and I want them all alive so we can figure out what to do next. Obviously, I figured out what to do next, but what we do next sort of depends on whether or not Hank McCarthy is alive and uncompromised, which I don't think he is, but based on the magical and scientific means, the disbursement of our enemies, we have to make sure of that, and we need to make sure that he gets out alive from the general.
Sir, I have a question before we continue. What's in this place that you selected? I know that our fonts are displayed as text upon the screen. We are able to see every view of every corner of this place. But what defenses are set up in case things happen? What if it went south? What if you weren't as you said, or we weren't as we said, and we weren't making this parlay right now? Is there anything preventing me from, and John takes out his gun and points it right at his head. Is there anything preventing me from just shooting you right now?
Not particularly.
Without removing his gun, John just stares at Paracelsus and says, "Sir, with all due respect, considering what you just shared, what you know of what we've been through, and the insidious nature of what could be supplanting the society, I'm going to need you to prove right now that you're not that entity of many faces. It would be oh so perfect for us to work with the enemy, undoing ourselves in this very moment. I need to know you are who you are. I need you to prove it right now.
See, that's good, but you should have been thinking about that earlier when you were considering the society as a whole. This is a good kind of paranoia. I've not met this entity. So what constitutes proof?
That you are who you are. A blood sample. A localized field of anti-magic to prove that you're not hiding your face. Something along those lines. Some undisputable fact that you're not just shape-shifting right now.
Okay. Tell you what. And he grabs for your gun. What do you do?
I want to shoot him, considering you don't usually grab at someone holding a gun at you because they're trigger happy and they want to, you know, reflex flick the thing that could keep them safe. But John wants to believe him.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that Paracelsus isn't stupid. He knows he isn't, at least he assumes he isn't a martial savant. And so when this bookish old world alchemist grabs for his gun, John is going to hold on to it, but he'll make no move to stop him.
Okay. He reaches in and pulls the trigger.
At himself?
At himself.
In that moment where he's about to pull the trigger on John's gun, can John insight check to see that he actually means to shoot himself to prove that he is who he is?
Sure. Roll an insight check.
Or is this just a game of weird chicken? This possible.
He doesn't seem
enemies
afraid at all. He seems very much sort of matter of fact, like he's been this entire time.
John's gonna pull the gun like just at the last second, out of the way of blowing his freaking head off.
All right. Blam! The gun goes off and shoots a hole in the projector screen.
Whoa! I thought we were facing away from the John standing like
whatever
here.
direction it, yeah.
Thank
all right.
you.
So, all right. So it blasts into the upholstery. Well,
Hey, that was all you. I didn't say to shoot yourself, damn it.
That would have been more dramatic, but his eyes.
What's your defense against a damn bullet between the eyes?
His eyes roll into the back of his head, and he just slumps over. And then, from outside in the lobby, Paracelsus walks in.
God damn it.
Oh my god.
He's up on the balcony now. Hello?
Hey. John shoots at him.
At the one up on the balcony?
Yes, specifically to miss him, but shoots right next to where his head would have been.
He ducks. He is now scared. And as he ducks,
God curses him. Damn it, Paracelsus!
The one that's down, like the one that just slumped over, gets back up and says,
You deserve that.
No!
John puts the gun away.
Well, you missed, so perhaps. But yes, surprise!
Is this a simulacrum in front of John?
It's a little bit better than that. A simulacrum would have actually been revealed by the Panopticon. This is a fully functional biological replica.
A clone.
Yes, in the common parlance. It's more of an alchemical process combined with a bit of your modern earth science. But the point is, I would have been fine if you shot me. Just don't shoot me, please.
Ignoring the more ramifications of you worrying which one of you survives, since this is an exact clone of you.
But we're not. There's only one me.
Well, there's only one you up until you made this clone. Now there's functionally two of you.
Well, no, it's like having two arms. They're still connected to the same animus.
I'm just saying it. Traditionally, if this is an actual clone, if you were to perish, then your clone would
think of it as
take on your legacy.
a peripheral corpus.
Okay, so it's not a perfect replication of you.
Well,
still,
I think it's absolutely perfect. But the point is, there's only one consciousness between the two. I have not created the spark of life. I have merely created a new apparatus.
Okay, so this is a vestige acting outside of you, but connected to you, is what you're saying.
Right.
Well, that's different. That's not a clone, is it?
You're the one
John
who called
Loads
it a clone. I never used that word. I was just trying to help
you. Agreed, sir. Damn it! This mustn't be entirely frustrating. I apologize, Asena. John puts the 2 bullets back in the gun and puts it back in the holster.
But yes, this is my grand deception. In case you chose to blow my brains out, I have a second pair of brains. But those ones up there are not replaceable. Consider this my...
I told you he didn't trust us.
I had to...
I mean, at least it wasn't an actual trap, right?
Precisely.
Sir, I need you to put one of those pairs of eyes away. Duck down or something.
When you look up on the balcony, you don't see him up there.
Okay, good.
That we're not capable of simultaneous operation. The human mind, unless expanded via supernatural properties, really should only comprehend one existence at a time. And so if I... And he stands up back on the balcony. As you can see, only one unit is capable of full operation. The one in the front seat gets up.
That is rather humorous, you have to admit, Asena.
My point is, behold my grand deception. Behold my true self. I don't know if that proves that I'm not the muse of war, but
Mate, while you're giving this final explanation, John, having caught on to what was happening when he was doing that very elaborate back and forth switch, I would assume there's a moment between when one knocks out, the other one has to get back up again. John wants to make a sleight of hand check.
Okay, roll it. What are you doing?
A 23. John's just putting a mustache on the closest one to him. He has no idea.
I hope that at the very least conveys my sincerity. Behold the vulnerable underbelly of the turtle.
I have beheld it, and it is a sweet, succulent space with which to bear your secrets. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, and what is this? What do you need us to do so that way you can assist us get back in the good graces of the society, if such a thing is even? I was hoping to rejoin back up with my brother and sisterhood, but it seems as though, honestly, that would be going into the belly of the beast.
No, I think your intentions are correct. In fact, I think both of you would best be served working alongside the Coriander Society as some of the only ones that we can actually trust. But it's less about restoring you to the good graces of the society and more restoring the good graces of the society itself.
So aside from rescuing Hank McCarthy, we need to start rooting out snakes in the grass, as it were.
And keeping those who can be trusted safe. We must reclaim it from within. Starting in this very chamber.
Aside from the four of us, 6 of us if you count our attachés, aside from those present here in this theater that we can see, and Hank McCarthy, you don't have to name names or anything, but how many people do you think you can honestly trust within the society, including those present here and the one we're going to rescue?
1. But I think we can expand that list.
Oh my god.
It's just a matter of diligence.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I thought you were going to say like 12. If it's 1, what's the name? Who's the one?
Well, he's spoken very highly of you. If it wasn't for his vouch, I don't think I would have arranged for this meeting in the first place. We do not believe how surprising it was to make contact.
John's trying to get a read on this guy. Does he know the person that he's insinuating?
Yes.
Is it a professional or a personal recommendation does John feel?
Yes.
No, it couldn't be.
Not everybody, and that included you as well, Asena. Not everybody gets a letter of recommendation from an actual saint.
Oh God, thank goodness. Okay, no, that makes way more sense. No, that makes way more sense.
Who do you think I was talking about?
No, I thought that somehow she might have found out what I did. That's all. Don't worry about it. I mean, how many bombshells have been dropped on me just in the last few hours? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Might as well, blow them all up before we have to rebuild it all, right?
All things considered, I'd really appreciate that. Sir, would you be able to check in on somebody back at Earth for me?
Yes.
There's a woman, somebody who I spend a lot of time with, and she's an agent as well, just not in our capacity. And I was able to keep that part of my life hidden from her, but it was always a point of contention, and I was trying to keep her safe. And I've learned a lot since then. In any case, her name's Carmen. If you could just look in on her, she should be in my files somewhere. I haven't had the heart to try to reach out, and I thought it might make her a target, but considering everything I know now, I'd really appreciate if you could look into her for me.
Yes. That seems fair. Yes.
But St. George, yeah, I mean, pretty amazing, right?
Back to the very ancient roots of this society. Speaking of which, he looks now at Asena. Do you think that the two of you will be able to bring Hank McCarthy out safely?
Yeah, sure.
Who's the guy?
Good. And if you
That's gotta be like we've literally like battled elder evils, and you just want me to bust a guy from prison or wherever he is.
I think it's going to be a little bit worse than that, given that he's in the clutches of a nefarious interdimensional warlord. But your resume, he goes through, like, he pulls out some papers from his pocket. They're terribly messy. There's like a greasy receipt in there. He just sort of goes through and says, I mean, St. George did talk about you killing a mountain, so I think that's probably good. Yes. And after that, would you be willing to help us, Asena?
Like officially?
Unofficially, but officially. Very official. In an unofficial secret capacity.
Officially, unofficially. You know how it is.
Yes.
Needs must and all that.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that the society is in peril, and we can no longer restrict our vision to protecting Earth and its magical heritage. The universe is too big, and we can't do it alone. And as the heir to this interdimensional dragon, as somebody who's already been to so many different worlds and vanquished so many evils and has the power over travel that you do and the strength of character that you do, if we are going to save the Coriander Society, we need agents like you.
You're asking me to be an agent.
Yes.
Agent Asena.
You can adopt
That
a
sounds
code.
kind of weird. Yeah, I think might need something else.
That's
while
fine.
this is happening.
Go ahead.
On the background of the screen, hopefully with Asena's back to the screen, John's subtitles just keep flashing up. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes.
Asana's standing up in the front. Paracelsus looks up at her and then sort of peers around her. And subtitles is, when did I grow a mustache? I'd say we have an
What
entire...
about
Yes.
what about Dargan and our kitty cat? Are they agents?
Well,
Come on. If we're officially unofficial agents, then they would also too need. They've been paramount. I mean, you've heard in ascertaining the pieces of the flesh of Core and keeping us safe and in good company during our many months of travel.
He looks over, he sort of peeks up at the back of a receipt that he's written on, and you can kind of see through it because receipts aren't made on very good paper. Chester has some good recommendations on file. If you're willing to vouch for Dargan, then you would be eligible to be a probationary agent.
Did you hear that, Dargan? Much like you're a probationary member of this team, you'd be a probationary agent. Prove yourself in one eye, you'll prove yourself in both, and before you know it, you'll be looking around with a pair of really nice peepers. Isn't that great?
You are probationarily edible.
Hey, we talked about that, not in front of the wizards, okay?
I'm willing to join, but I have one condition.
Naturally.
I want patches.
Patches.
Yes. Can we all get patches? No society is a society without patches. And how will we know which ones are good and which ones are bad? And who we can trust without a patch?
I was taking a drink and I realized as I was doing so, I'm like, I better stop drinking because I bet this is going to be really, really funny. I was so right.
I find your term acceptable.
Okay. Well, then it's settled. We get patches and I'm an agent of the Coriander Society. Yep.
You have to complete your first mission to get your first mission patch, and then after you've got your mission patch, then with a patch you're officially a member of the society. So you bring back Agent McCarthy and you'll be officially inducted. And together we will root out this evil, save the earth, redeem the very soul of the Coriander Society, and stop the universe from being eaten by a giant dragon.
Well, sir, while I understand the legitimacy of your claim, technically, since this is not an official meeting between the Coriander Society and our party, you effectively scouted us by selecting us here, hearing us out, and then now inducting us into this secret society within the secret society. Technically, that should at least make us probationary agents until we find out exactly how this first mission goes. So at the very least, we should be Agent Carmichael and Agent Asena, and then the Coriander is to follow up on our success. Isn't that right?
Your logic baffles me, yet I find it compelling.
All right, Agent Asena. And John's gonna hold up his hand and move to shake her hand. I think we're ready to go rescue Agent McCarthy and start the secret society.
Guess so. Better get to it so we can get our mission patch.
I agree. I'm wondering what should we use as our sigil for the secret. I think if a coriander is the iconography used for the normal society, perhaps ours should be a tree of some kind. I propose papaya. And John's going to just start walking.
A papaya tree?
Yeah, it's got a certain ring to it, and it would look great on a patch.
the papaya tree has certain mystical associations that I don't know. They tie the symbolism of the coriander seed goes back all the way to the days of the Israelite tribes and the manna in the desert. In ancient China, it was considered part of a love potion. And if you look back to the original founding of the society, was this powerful bond. John's continuing to walk off as Paracelsus is just elaborating on all this trivia.
As he's like expanding upon this, John's like, papaya is used as slang for a very naughty part, and I think that's hilarious. That should be the basis of our entire philosophy.
That is precisely why. And then he falls over it. And he pokes out from on top of the balcony. Precisely why you should consider something else.
And you've got the entire leg of our adventure to consider. And when you come back, the Papaya Tree Society will take it under consideration.
And he plumps over. This time out of exasperation rather than soul transfer. When the lot of you exit the theater and you're back in the lobby, it's pretty much exactly as you left it. Dargan follows. There's like a partially eaten paper bag still with grease on it. Slurps it back down. And Paracelsus remains behind. It's just the four of you and the front door that leads back to the astral.
Is there more popcorn?
There's always more popcorn.
Oh, well then, fantastic.
We better fill up for the road.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
How many bags of holding do you have?
Enough.
Add enough popcorn to your inventory, please.
Glorious. Yeah, were we able to get that one that I requested for Asena? I know we got a haversack, but did we actually get a bag of holding?
Yeah, I got one.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Oh, thank gosh. Great.
Where will you go? You have the universe at your disposal.
Well, I guess we should go spring the guy. So we need a way back to Yord, which is always difficult to get to for some reason, because we haven't done the museum portal heist.
We really need to make that happen, because man, that would be so nice. That'd be so easy. We already did all the research and all the prep for it. We literally, at just the touch of a button, are able to make that happen.
It's true.
John is just idly talking to us, saying, I had also considered. I know we spent all that time to really, get a good idea of how we're going to make this happen. And I know that you talked to your maybe mom, and there's the possibility of us requisitioning it as well. But man, what would have been hilarious is if we would have dressed up as Dr. Zorbius and his robots and just stole the thing. Made it look like he rolled in, took this piece of priceless Zoquian art. I know that's not what it actually is, but that's what they believe it is. And then just left. And then everyone would be further pissed at Zorbius, and we'd have the thing, and no one would ever come looking for it.
We could even use Circe to be like, shrink ray it, and they just think it's Zorbius tech.
Exactly. Now you're thinking with portals.
That's way better than our other ideas.
I know. Hey, you know what? Maybe those other ideas will not have come to fruition by the time we return to Yord, and maybe we can just do exactly that.
Well, what do we do now?
Well, we have to go rescue Hank McCarthy, but I just realized Paracelsus didn't really tell us where he was. He's with the Coriander Society. He's somewhere safe, apparently, under lock and key.
No, Hank McCarthy is with General Sugomo.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
That's why he wants him extracted.
Then there we go. We need to go to Yord anyway. We'll go to Yord, we'll grab the portal, and then we'll go grab Hank McCarthy. And then we didn't really specify. John rushes back in the theater to check and see if Paracelsus is still there.
He is.
Oh, thank goodness. Hey, once we rescue our forlorn agent, Hank McCarthy, where should we go for extraction?
Good
you
question.
Have an extraction plan, right?
Well, we don't have a lot of resources available that we can fully trust yet. Who do you actually trust?
I I trust a lot of people because I keep good friendships and I surround myself with trustworthy people. But
Great, such as?
Well, in Yord specifically, we have Hara and pretty much the entirety of the Institute. We have our previous partner Gaston and everything that they are able to bring to bear under their organization. We have, let me pull up my list of people from Yord. Hold on just a moment. This is a big
Great,
world
you
with
pick
a lot
one
of
those
people.
and let me know via sending. No, call me. Call me. You have my number. And he pulls out a cell phone, but it's like one of those 1980s huge business phones. It's not a smartphone with the antenna that you have to. So just pick one of those and then call me with the details, and we'll plan from there.
All right, well, that sounds good. Aside from just messaging you, is there any way that we'll be able to we can just call you and that's fine? No one's going to trace it?
You shouldn't. You have my number. This is a safe line.
Wait a minute. I have just a question here. When you called us, you had other people on the line with you. Where did they think you were going and who were you meeting? You were talking directly to us. There's nobody within that room. Is that one person that you trust in that room with you?
Yes.
Are you lying right now?
No.
Are you sure?
Slump. Get up. Yes, I'm sure.
Why do you keep doing that?
Because I felt uncomfortable.
Get used to it. Okay. Well, John's going to close the door. Slam the door, in fact. All right. So who do we want to risk getting embroidered in this situation? I feel like the Institute would probably be the best choice, but I kind of don't want to put them under any more scrutiny than they already have. Gaston's an amazing follow-up, but he's trying to run an entire criminal empire. I know he's not calling it a criminal empire, but that's what it is. He took over a criminal empire. Who does that leave? Hey, what about your maybe mom? She was thinking about coming with us to Lacunas, wasn't she?
Yeah, to plan a party.
So I mean, what if we grabbed McCarthy, used one of your mom's safe houses, and then spirited her away to Lacunas, so that way, if there is any fallout, she's going to be very far away with no one to lead back to her.
Why do we need her though?
Well, because she has an amazing amount of resource and power within Yord, and we need someone to help us keep Hank McCarthy safe once we bust him out of whatever situation he happens to find himself in right now.
I mean, that could work. I don't think anyone's gonna look for him at my mom's house.
I would hope it wouldn't be specifically your mom's house, but yes, I mean, I guess that could work. Are you okay putting her into a modicum of danger until we spirit her away?
Oh, sure. I'm pretty sure she's used to danger.
Should we talk to her first or just make the assumption this will be fine?
You want to call her interdimensionally?
Sure. I can either send her a message or yeah, we can try to call her, I would assume. Yeah, that should work.
You can get good service from the Panopticon lobby, just not inside the theaters.
You know, why don't you try? I don't think you've had a chance to run the show on your own call on your phone. Give it a try.
Okay. Do I just talk to it again?
Yeah.
She'll pull out her phone. Call maybe mom.
Calling maybe mom. It rings a couple of times. You almost think you hear a rotary telephone being dialed for some reason, even though it wouldn't work that way. And a couple of moments later, you've reached Pinnacle Towers. This is speaking on behalf of Miss Ruiz Carrington. How may I take your call?
I want to talk to my maybe mom.
I'm sorry, who is this?
Asena. You don't have my number? This is my new number. You should save it.
I don't know how I would see your number, miss. That's... excuse me just a moment.
They're working on some pretty old tech over there. They don't even know who's calling.
Hello? Hello? Asena, hello.
Hi. I'm calling from a different world.
Are you safe, darling?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Sorry we had to take off right after the funeral, but I had a favor to ask of you.
From across the cosmos and the very nature of our reality. What a wonder. What a wonder. Anything, darling. Yes.
Yeah. So, long story short, we joined a secret society.
Congratulations. This is such an important part of growing up. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Which one?
We
Don't
might
tell me. Don't
even-
tell me. It's a secret.
It's true. I can't tell you, but we might get patches.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. So my first mission, I have to spring somebody from somebody's being like abducted, and I gotta save them. And I was wondering if you had connections to anywhere safe that we could hold him until we're able to get him out of the world.
Well, certainly. That sounds quite dangerous. I'd be happy to help. Of course, I have connections. I'm always prepared just in case of the ransom or abduction or such things. Without betraying the confidence of your new society, is there anything you can tell me about this person?
He's very trustworthy, and he's in trouble.
Does he have any enemies? I simply want to make sure that whoever I associate with, wherever I put him, doesn't put him in even greater danger. It's a very complex social web throughout the entire city. Surely you understand.
That's a good question. Hold on. Hey, John.
Yes.
Who's Hank's enemies?
Well, technically, it would be the greater evils, elder evils of the cosmos.
Yeah, like maybe like
probably-
on a yard level.
Well, any Coriander seekers that could possibly be lingering there searching for him if they haven't already found him, and presumably General Segumo and the entirety of the Commonwealth Army.
Oh yeah, that is who we're saving him from. Okay, thanks.
Of course.
We are rescuing him from General Segumo. Do you know that guy?
What, from the general?
Yeah, he's not so great. He almost tried to kill us. Maybe. Or something like that. It was at least threatened.
But he's been so generous. He's
He's
dear.
kind of creepy looking, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he's actually rather striking, but darling,
Wow.
This could be there could be some difficulties. Oh, this could be quite complicated.
What? Why?
Do you recall, love, how you'd asked me to intervene on your behalf about a certain collection at the museum?
Oh, right, that one. Yeah.
Well, I've been working on that, and I had some very wonderful news until just now.
What happened?
I called in some favors, and I made some very generous donations, and there were a couple of administrative blocks, but I received assistance in securing the rights to the entire exhibit and its safe storage with the help and sponsorship of one General Segumo.
Okay. So does he have the portal? I mean, that artifact?
His vehicles are going to collect it tonight.
Okay. Don't you worry about this, maybe, Mom. Everything's gonna be fine.
Oh, I'm sure it will, dear. I'm sure it will. Just how threatened to kill you? Was he particularly suave and debonair about it, or what was the? I'm just trying to ascertain the exact nature of these threats.
I think you're gonna be okay. He's not gonna hurt you because he
What about
doesn't.
you? I'm concerned for your safety. I fear I may have. Oh, what have I done?
Don't worry. I'm a lot stronger than you think.
Yes. You certainly are, love. You certainly are. Oh dear. So
This could be great. This if General Segumo's, if they're all involved with getting the artifact, we can use that as a diversion to get our friend back. And then we'll just have to find a way to get the artifact later.
yes.
Maybe.
Yes. No, that's good. That's good. That's excellent thinking, love.
See, so everything's fine, and you set us up great.
Very good. Very good. I'll make some calls about your friend, and I'll make sure none of them travel in the same circles as the other striking general.
Yeah. We'll find you another one, a better one.
Please, darling, I don't lack for options. Trust me. You don't worry about me. You worry about yourself.
Oh, okay. Because after that, then we can go to the other world so we can plan the gala.
Oh. Yes.
Think
perhaps.
problems seem a lot smaller when you think about other worlds.
Quite. What is any of this in the grand scheme of the dance of the spheres, after all? Much more manageable.
Okay, well, my interdimensional minutes are running out.
Does that mean you need... Of course, you go ahead. Hurry home, please. I'm sure that his convoy will be making all the preparations tonight. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know right away, all right?
Okay, just text me back. Bye.
I'm sorry, what? Click.
She hangs up the phone. John, we have a problem.
How much of that was John able to hear?
Asena's side. And I wasn't keeping track of what she said and what... So I think he knows something's up. He definitely knows something's up, but I don't know how much he knows is up.
So I was able to catch about half of that. Where is it? And Segumo's involvement, how dire is that going to be for us?
Well, it's still in the museum for the next couple hours until Segumo and his friends pick it up. Tonight.
John's eyes light up. Really? Segumo is going to come pick up the thing that we want to steal?
Yes.
And he'll take it to his compound,
Yes.
where he's keeping Hank McCarthy.
Yeah. Okay, so
Oh.
we just need to go through that portal.
Yeah, exactly. This is perfect. We party till nightfall.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Crap. It's perfect, though. It's perfect. Oh, this is just like the movie Dungeons and Dragons.
Exactly. It's the name of the movie.
That's the name of the movie. All right. So the portal technically goes to the Obsidian Tower.
Yes.
Home base of the Pact Malefic. You've been able to do hacking in the past, but based on your knowledge of the arcane, that's going to be tricky if the thing's in transit. It's going to add another layer of complexity.
Wouldn't we just wait till it's no longer in transit? We can go to the tower and then wait until...
Yeah. What I'm saying is you've hacked it before where you use that portal to go to not the tower, but for maximum success, you're going to want to go to the tower in this case.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been too long, I'd say, since we visited the Obsidian Tower of the Pact of Malefect.
Further complication. You cannot get to the tower from the astral plane.
Come again for Big Fudge?
You cannot use the astral plane to go to the tower. It's dimensionally
So aside
isolated.
from this portal,
Mhm.
how do we know how to get to the tower? I've been there before.
Right. But it's sealed against teleportation, so you need to use one of the other portals to get in.
Correct. So what would be the other easily accessible portals to get to the tower?
Which ones have you been in? There's the one on Verdura.
That would not be that difficult. We're already we're not in Perianth right now, but it wouldn't be difficult to go from Perianth to Verdura.
There's the one on Zelzosh.
Slightly more complicated, especially if that planet is,
Mm-hmm.
Sub-Zero Blizzard Ice Age territory right now.
Right. There's the one in Leftover.
A little more difficult, but we should be able to get to Leftover from the astral plane, right?
Theoretically, yeah. There's the one on Earth underneath Boston.
Okay,
may have exploded. Probably exploded.
May have exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the one in Merlin World. That one's tricky in general.
Actually, definitely exploded. John just would have gone through that portal if it was available.
Yeah. So that one blew up from the other side. There's the one in Merlin World, but that one's always tricky. Getting to Merlin World is tricky without using that portal. There's just all sorts of blocks and barriers around it.
Exactly.
There might be cracks that make it possible, but it would be difficult. I think those are the ones that you know about, unless I'm forgetting something.
John's going to propose either Nowhere or Verdura. He can easily teleport us back to Perianth, and it would be very quick to, relatively quick to either use an ether relay or convince someone to give them a ship or drop them off in Verdura.
You have until,
or we could just go, huh?
You have until tonight.
Well, he picks it up tonight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Yeah. I consider the time frame. You're correct.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to take too long. I'd prefer it to happen they bring it there, drop it off, and then bam, we pop out. That would be pretty excellent.
Right. So the faster you can make this, the better, but it doesn't have to be instant.
Exactly. So John's going to propose either a more long, drawn out, but easily transferable and feasible mission to Pyrespace, or we can possibly get lost in the astral plane going to a place that really shouldn't exist anymore. One's more dangerous and faster. One will take a little longer, but will be more assured.
Don't look at me. I'm always going to choose the astral.
Hey, going to Nowhere it is. I hope that you have that ready, mate.
All right. Well,
I think you had a map of Nowhere once before. We pulled up a map of Nowhere.
I can handle this. I got this. Do you want to?
So while he's preparing, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you want to head back out into the astral yet, or do you want to continue the scene inside the lobby?
I think we've gotten all of this that we can. I think we'll head to the astral, right, Asena?
Yeah.
John will pop his head back into Paracelsus. Hey, any chance you could start casting a teleport and then stop?
Not really my area of expertise. Why?
Well, because I'd like to not waste the resources, but that's fine. And John slams the door again. He opens it. How the hell do you get out of here? How'd you even get here?
You walk out the front door.
Okay, but where does it go?
The astral plane.
Oh! John slams the door.
A
moment later, he opens it. Thank you, sir. And then he slams the door again.
Every time that you close the door, one of his other bodies, he activates one and walks towards the door and then clumps, and then the other one activates because he's trying to leapfrog them out.
Are you kidding? Okay, hold on. John has a much better idea for this. This is very funny what he's doing. John is going to take let's see here. We don't have that kind of time.
I'll manage. God.
Okay, sir, remind me. I have a means of making this far simpler for you. Just remind me if we have enough time to prepare something for you. This is ridiculous for a man of your stature. As John just nearly laughs watching him leapfrog over himself.
Please, after thousands of years alive, my dignity is the least of my concerns. Most people who mock me or belittle me, I just rest in comfort knowing that someday I'll be pissing on their graves. If you could just help me to the front door.
Goodbye, sir. And John closes the door.
The end credits, the post-credit stinger for this episode is going to be him like dragging one of his other bodies just up the aisle and then stopping to take a break. Whew. Leaving. All right, so you shut the door again on the theater, leaving the two of you in the front lobby of the Panopticon. What do you do?
Well, I want to put a chair in front of the door, but I'm not going to.
That's your call. All you have to do to get back to the Astral is go out the front door.
Oh, well, I guess that's it. Are you ready? Do we have enough popcorn?
No.
We definitely. Did you get any extra?
Yeah, he's engorged himself on popcorn.
Yeah, I think you have enough. I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this. And John will open the door.
All right. The Astral is right on the other side. You literally like step through the door and you think you'd fall off, but now you're floating in the Silver Sea once again.
Is the red velvety mist right behind us?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
And obviously, the red velvet is theater curtains. Now that you're on the other side of it, it looks obvious.
Nice. You know, I wonder what Paracelsus is going to do to get out of here. Is he just going to, like, hold hands and just one of them think until they arrive where they need to be? Part of me would pay money to see that.
I think you've tortured him enough.
I think that he slightly deserved it. But regardless, next time we'll help him out of the theater. I think this time he needs to back up his claim of not worrying what people think of him. Until then, I guess let's think about nowhere.
How do you think about nowhere?
Exactly. And John's going to start focusing on that place that really no longer exists.
Okay. The broken, shattered remnants of a world scattered across existence and now slowly decaying over strangely stretched time. How long will it take to get there? Let's find out.
Once John locks in on it, he's going to say, well, I'm saying that unlike you, I don't really have a good sense of these things, so I guess it's your turn to trust me. This might be a while. Should we locate Rocco first? I don't know how long this is going to take. And until you've attuned to this place, we don't really have your general sense of things.
We could be safe. Go get Rocco.
All right, sounds good. I'll focus on nowhere. You focus on Rocco, and every now and then I'll just kind of keep peering into nowhere so we stay at least on a semblance of knowing where to go.
Each of you please roll 1d6 as you return once again to the Astral Sea.
A 4.
4.
Once more.
And all right. It's going to take you 5 hours.
Nicely done.
Don't worry. Encounters don't have a low roll.
All right.
5 hours later, you arrive once again at your beautiful friend.
Oh, Rocco. It's been too long. It's good to see you again, old friend.
Whoop. Hold on. There, I fixed Rocco.
Oh, good. Oh, hey, Slakura's here as well.
Sakura stares as if caught in the middle of something, and then poofs out of existence.
What the hell was that?
You glimpsed for a moment through the curtain of reality itself. The meta dimension that governs your actual lives. Concealed within Rocco, you can now begin your journey. Is there anything that you want, aside from montage and aside from whatever encounters I happen to roll?
John is going to... Gosh, I had a thing. Mate, while he was reading last time, on this last 5-hour stretch, would John have been able to start working on something? He was just going to cast a runic spell. I feel like we can probably do that while floating in the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like a ritual, but it takes 2 hours longer instead of 10 minutes longer.
Okay.
So John's going to cast 2 runic spells of... What is that ability called? Floating disc.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to... Was there anything on Paracelsus' person that seemed to be rather important to them? Some sort of trinket, something that they... Were they fidgeting? A fuzzy hat?
He likes his fuzzy hat quite a bit.
Likes his fuzzy hat quite a bit. So if John was able to have like a little pen that you could pin onto the hat, he would appreciate such a thing.
Quite possibly.
All right, so John's going to put one of the runic spells of floating disc onto a little pin that he has, and then he's going to put the other onto a wooden spoon.
Okay. 20 hours later. I'm going to give you the chance to narrate anything that you wanted to happen during those 20 hours. Otherwise, we'll proceed to the world of leftover, which I might need a moment to retrieve from deep storage.
Pods, would Asena like a spell tattoo?
Sure.
Would you
Might
like...
as well while we wait here.
While we wait, yeah, John can just start imbuing a tattoo. Would you like something offensive, something defensive, or something utilitarian?
Why don't you surprise me?
Ooh, a surprise. I love surprises. Okay.
You never know what you're gonna need when you go to nothing, nowhere, no world. Where are we going?
We're going to nowhere.
Nowhere. What's at nowhere?
Everywhere. Everywhere that once was and is no longer there.
And that's how we're gonna get to the portal?
That's exactly how we're going to get to the portal.
Hmm. You know, my maybe mom was so worried that she messed up by giving the portal to General Sugumo, but sounds like that's the best thing she could have done.
I would tend to agree with you. That was... I mean, I know it was unintentional, but it was pretty pog, actually.
Also, she doesn't know how to text with her phone.
No, I think technically everything she does with that phone is texting initially, but not in the sense that we're typically used to. Okay, that'll cost 250 smackaroons if I do that. I think that'll work. You seem to benefit from that kind of stuff. And John's going to request, or rather specify, Asena, would you like Celtic knotwork or something else? I specialize either in old Nordic runes, Celtic knotwork, or these little dots, dashes, lines, and circles that kind of look like a circuit board.
What's a circuit board?
Celtic knotwork it is. And John begins setting about these very primal, ancient-looking runes that weave around. Let's see it. It's going to be probably on. We're kind of cramped up in this. Well, not super cramped, but not exactly. There's not a lot of space. So John's just gonna kind of sit up behind her. He'll remove at least the upper part of the clothing from the back of her shoulders and take out his magical inks and begin setting to work, placing a tattoo along the back, like the lower part of the nape of the neck and onto the shoulders.
And what power is infused within this tattoo?
That's going to be the spell of invisibility.
Always a classic. Always a good choice.
Always. Always.
After 20 hours has gone by, Rocco comes within range of another swirling color pool. Silver light against silver light, the color of the prime material of a physical, corporeal world. But this pool is troubled. It churns, it swirls like a whirlpool. It bubbles up. It almost seems torn or frayed. It's messed up.
Well, that's
And-
weird.
I recognize this, right, mate?
You recognize this effect? This specific pool? I mean, you've never been here this way. So I don't think you would have ever seen this color pool before. The last
But
time
it
you went
looks-
here, you went through the portal. It looks messed up.
looks
That
pretty.
lines up with it, and you're thinking about leftover. So ostensibly, this must be it.
Perfect. And mate, I don't. We haven't really gone over exactly how long it takes to craft bullets or make a tattoo, but I would assume that if we have like we don't have to sleep here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we said that. No sleeping, no eating, no drinking, all that stuff.
Correct.
Would he be able to make a spell tattoo and a spell bullet in the 20 hours he has to do this?
Sure.
Cool. All right. There we go. And all right. Oh, I guess we're here. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and just kind of kick Rocco adrift. I don't know what Rocco thinks about when they're not here with us, but
Rocco's a rock.
Rocco is indeed a rock, head empty. Only rock butts.
Does Rocco exist when we're not around?
Oh, let's not get into that existential kind of thought.
If Rocco splashes in the astral sea and there's no one around, does it make a sound?
Rocco's a rock. We're gonna go ahead and into the color pool, I believe.
Okay. Could I have both of you roll a Constitution saving throw, please?
You may not, but we'll do what we must. How did I not know you were gonna
That
say
implies that he can.
It does indeed. Constitution, you say?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use a luck die.
Not so happy with the 7.
I feel better about a 17. To be sure.
Okay. Passing through the portal, there's a moment of extreme pain as your molecules do something they're not supposed to. The color pool is fractured because the world beyond it itself is fractured. It feels less like you're stepping through a curtain that leads from one world to another, and more like you're passing through a sieve or a storm drain and just barely squeezing between the bars.
Oh my god.
Upon arrival, the weightlessness of the astral plane is replaced by a churning, spinning center of gravity. You are not you're falling, but the direction that you're falling just keeps changing wildly, moment after moment. And if I could have each of you please roll 1d10.
1d10, you say? I do this thing that you ask. No modifiers, just a regular d10, right?
Just a d10.
I got a 2. It shows a 9 on screen, but it's a 2.
I see a 9 and a 2 from you and a 2 from Pods.
Oh! See, I rolled the 9, and then I looked down and saw the 2, and they rolled at like the same time, so yeah.
That'll happen. Well, when you arrive, Asena, you see bits and chunks of a broken world. Pools of water just float through, boiling from no apparent source. Streaks of plasma from dead stars go winding by. Chunks of a broken continent. You seem to find yourself clinging onto one of them. But in this exact moment of your arrival, these forces are in balance. You're able to breathe the air. You're able to think your way towards gravity, even if you're standing on different chunks of rock and looking up at each other. For the moment, things are stable, but this is an inherently unstable universe. And who knows how long this will hold. John, you don't recognize where you are because it's all broken, right? I think +1 XP for me.
Correct. So this is not the goal that we are heading towards?
No, you arrived in Leftover. But remember, when you think of Yord, you could end up on a portal that leads you to Jupiter.
I see. So this is not the same place that we've gone. I remember Asena actually did come here at one point. We were rushing through here. So this is not the place that we've been to before. This is somewhere else.
In Leftover.
Leftover. I see. Okay. Well, now we need to find the portal. So, as you said, we I guess technically could be anywhere. So, yeah, we need to find what we're looking for. Just on the off chance that we maybe somehow, somewhere, might be in the right place. John's going to cast Detect Object.
Okay. You're trying to detect it?
Yes. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. Where are you? Detect Object. Locate. That's it. Locate Object. So it needs to technically be within 1,000 feet of you, but I'm wondering if John could at any point somehow amplify this sensor to try to find something a little closer than just 1,000 feet away.
I'll tell you what. This world, given that it's broken and shattered, it's not simply that you arrive and everything's broken. Space and time, well, space mostly, has been completely disrupted. And over the years since this catastrophe has happened, this world has slowly decayed and shrunk. But, I mean, you never spent too much time here studying it. But one thing that you and Asena both realize is that while you're here, you can control your own gravity. Because it's a broken world, the laws of physics don't seem to apply anymore. So when you cast that locate object spell, John,
yeah,
it's pulling you towards something. You don't know how far it is, but it's pulling you towards something.
Okay.
And by thinking about it, just like in the astral, you can fly. The difference is you're not in an infinite, featureless sea. You're in a roiling, churning, disastrous asteroid belt of what remains of a dead world.
Mate, I just remembered there's one more place that we've been to within the tower. Mirrorverse. And there's a piece of the Flesh of Core in the Mirrorverse as well.
There is. Do you want to go after it right now?
I mean, it's not an awful idea, but I suppose technically once we reach the tower, we could, as long as we, here's the thing, if we can get a hold of the Yord portal, it's easy to go to and from the tower.
Yes.
But if we can't get it, this is a good chance to make sure we can tackle something that we might have a chance to easily do later. Although we just showed that we can get there from here, but I don't know how much longer here is going to be here.
True.
Question, mate. There's no way to, if we find the portal, there's no way for us to, I know John talked in the past, we had to rush through here, but would John be able to salvage? I know I asked and you said that we could rebuild it, but it might not work the same. If John was given enough time, would he be able to salvage and try and rebuild this portal rather than having it be lost to nowhere?
You could try.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, John's going to inform Asena that he has made at least some sort of sympathetic connection to what he believes they're seeking, and he's going to follow it.
But as the two of you start floating towards it, the rock you were just standing on cracks and begins to radiate with terrible inner heat as what's left of the core of some long dead planet, that ancient fire, reawakens. The ground and the chunks nearby you burn and the air near you becomes scalding as the rocks themselves start to melt, and you find yourselves floating through a sea of molten lava that's slowly closing towards you. But that sounds like a problem for another episode of Coriander Society Adventures. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you're watching us live, stick around for Loriander. We'll be right back. Episode 96 of Coriander Society Adventures. After successfully retrieving the flesh of Kur from the grove of Benthazel, our heroes return to the city of Fluris, home of King Indogalad, and they take the opportunity as he stores that piece of flesh in the secret vault beneath the city to plant a spy drone there on behalf of his daughter, the Princess Athea, who's worried about him and the trouble he's getting into with that contents of that mysterious vault. Afterwards, our heroes departed for the astral plane to meet with Paracelsus, an agent of the Coriander Society. They told him everything. After being on the run from the society for so many years, our heroes are finally coming in from the cold. They found out from Paracelsus that he believes that the society itself has been compromised, that the enemies who infiltrated the city under Boston and set John off on this entire adventure have seized control and planted agents of their own, corrupting the society from within. The alchemist Paracelsus has resolved to rebuild the society with the help of John and Asena as his new agents, provided, of course, that they can rescue fellow trustworthy agent Hank McCarthy from the clutches of General Sugomo back on Yord. After departing from this meeting, our heroes decided to make their way back because they got a call with Jasmine Ruiz Carrington, Asena's maybe mom. They found out that the portal on Yord was about to be taken by General Sugomo himself. Rather than try to get there before it was transported, our heroes decided to wait for it to be brought into the same base that Hank McCarthy should be in, so they can just hop in through the portal, steal Hank, get out. Our heroes traveled through the astral plane to find the dead world called Leftover, where they knew they could find a portal to the Obsidian Tower. But upon entering that broken world, they found themselves engulfed in elemental chaos, and a sea of magma courses towards them. Will they be able to find the portal before they're incinerated? We'll find out on the next episode. Welcome, everybody, to Loriander, episode 96. Tormented by Gnomes here, your host, your game master, joined by Ninjaman Matt and Posivore. Matt, what's up?
No mucho. I had a very long but good day at work, and then had a very lovely evening joining the rest of you for a fun show.
Hell yeah. Pods, how are things? How'd your thing go, your hosting go?
It went really well. In case you missed it, I was hosting for Xbox on Friday, and we did a little stream exploring the world of Barbie, and then playing some Forza Horizon 5 to check out the new Barbie cars that were in the game right now. So it went really well. It was very scary, but I think I did okay.
I think you killed it.
Thank you.
In accordance with the rough run of show that we're vaguely putting together for this thing, the first thing that I have to do is just open the floor. We just finished episode 96. We finally made contact with the Coriander Society in a way that they're not trying to kill you. Revealed a couple of big plot moments. Anything on your minds? Anything you wanted to point out? Did I mess anything up? Was there anything you wanted to say?
How are you doing, mate?
I'm good. I am tormented by cats. And I'm putting a lot of time into the fundraiser that we're running in a couple of weeks for East County Animal Rescue. All contributions to the Casters and Castles coffee until at least the end of July, maybe a little bit further, are going to that charity. It's the foster organization, rescue organization that we rescue all of our cats through. So if you follow me on any of the socials and you see pictures of adorable kittens, it's all made possible by that organization. We're going to do a show on Saturday the 29th. Be there or be square.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
All right, back to you two. Only I can say back to you two and interrupt by giving you the torch. It's my special superpower. What were you about to say?
I said cats. That's all.
Cats. Quite.
Yeah.
And the internet together.
And the internet.
Yeah, I don't have great things to say.
That bad, huh?
I'm really excited.
Sometimes it's just one word that comes out.
Hey, you know what? Cats is a good word. I feel like considering our demographic, if you have to say a word, cats is pretty, it's up there.
What are you excited about, Matt?
I'm decided in the direction that things are going. I did not expect for this this mini adventure to rescue Hank. And again, surprisingly, I really didn't consider the implications of the Coriander Society coming under fire. Although it makes absolutely perfect sense.
I've been holding on to this one for a while. How can we get you back in contact with the society without giving away all the resources and support in the entire universe? I mean, you already have like an elven kingdom and a high-tech society and a rich mom, and it's not like you're hurting for help.
And yet we're still in a bad way, constantly at the edge of our seats, the skin of our teeth, and doing everything we can to keep the forces of the elder evils from just crushing down upon us. I think we could use a little more help. That's not really a big deal.
You know, it'd be boring otherwise, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Discord and pull a couple of questions. We didn't get through all the ones that we were asked last time, so let me go ahead and throw these out. Did we ask about loose ends last time? Which loose ends John and Asana are most worried about coming back around?
No, we didn't talk about any of that.
Okay, cool. What loose ends from your adventures is John most concerned about coming back up?
So this is more so about like stuff that has been discussed but never actually appeared on air. There was always this talk about an evil John, and whether this John is the evil John or if there is a different evil John. Because I released some teasers a while back about there being two Carmichaels, and there was always the Carmichael and Carmichael. Everywhere he goes, it's always Carmichael and Carmichael. He's got all these different aliases and things that he uses, and I don't want that to catch up with me. So I'm really hoping that stays where it belongs in memes and in what ifs. I have come up with quite a few things for that we have not confirmed and dropped in canon. I've discussed a few things with you that we've been playing around with. So I would say for me, that's the loose end that I really hope stays lost in continuity for a bit.
What about Asana? What loose ends from the story are you most worried about coming back?
I think Asana is interesting because I feel like she's at a point right now where she doesn't really have a lot of loose ends. We kind of tied up everything like really nicely. And that's kind of the scary part. Is that now Asana has to figure out what else she is beyond Yord and her past. I guess maybe if I have to answer the question, it would be the whole like her being a lounge singer has not really come into play. So when we go back to that, that's gonna be scary, but we'll handle it.
We'll handle it. We've got plans for that. What am I most afraid of coming back up?
Too quiet.
Anything we remind you of?
Yeah, literally anything that I've forgotten about, and any items or special abilities that you pull out that I'd completely forgotten about that absolutely throw a wrench in the works. So I live my fears every single day on this show.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair if you told us, because I'm sure there's some things we've forgotten about that you're like, please don't. I hope they don't remember.
Let it lounge in continuity error.
Most of the time, I get reminded of those when you remind.
I was looking for a name when Asana had called the bellhop. I was furiously looking through my notes to find a name.
Jasper and
yeah.
Horace.
I was trying to make sure. I was like, wait, did he remember that she browbeat him last time and that he's supposed to respond yes, ma'am, and how high?
So for a moment, what I was gonna do there is the guy who answered the phone was somebody else, and he was gonna Jasper or Horace was gonna like shove him out of the way and take over the call. But I guess I just wasn't like. I didn't feel like I could step into that voice exactly in that moment, so I just went straight to the mom. But I was absolutely thinking it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, I had not, for once, I had not forgotten.
Nice, I'm so proud of you.
This light, it only wants to work for an hour and a half.
I need to turn all of mine off so we can go into full film noir mode.
Ooh, okay, yeah, let's do it.
What the heck?
Love that idea.
You can only have one. I'll hold this one here.
There we go. Looks like a little spotlight on me.
This just looks like pasty mode. This just looks like basement dweller late at night mode. This doesn't look
Yeah.
noir at all.
Yours didn't work so good, mate.
No, it really didn't. I'm turning mine back on. What I should really do is turn them into red mode. I don't want to get up, so I'm not going to do that. We can do that later. Do a
Yeah,
dramatic
I need to
monologue
figure out how
down
to
the
change
line.
my lights. I have green and white. I need to figure out how to do more.
So when it's green, you turn not the one knob, you turn the other knob.
Oh.
I think, probably. Yeah.
I'll play around with that.
I was going to say, that's a new special effect for
Lighting
you to abuse
101.
every single time.
Yeah. I'll play with my knobs. That'll work out great.
Is John more fearful / intimidated? Doesn't have to be scared. Could be in like most respect in a fight. By the Coriander Society or by Tiamat? This was asked last week, and so that answer may have changed.
So here's the thing. If it's just the Coriander Society, Tiamat, hands down, easy. Tiamat's a freaking vengeful, infernal dragon god of you obey me or you die. John's been on the run for the Coriander Society for how long now? And I don't really fear much from them. However, the possible new heads running the show in the Coriander Society, like the maybe Hydra, yeah, that's a little more terrifying because I would say if you asked Pact Malefect or Tiamat, it would be Pact Malefect. And so this is very, very similar.
Valid. Has Asena thought about whether you may have to or want to fight Gultharius?
No, definitely not.
Hasn't crossed her mind?
No.
If it came to that, is that something you think you'd be capable of? Push came to shove.
I think in her mind right now, even the concept of somebody that she can't beat
Does not
is not, yeah. So she definitely wouldn't think that she can't do it. But she would definitely struggle with whether she would want to do it and probably try to find a different way.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to want to fight him without first understanding why she is what she is and what their connection is. But yeah, I hope I could do it without killing him. And I hope he's not bad. I don't know anything about him.
Remains one of the big mysteries of the campaign. What about Dargan?
Yeah.
Would you kill Dargan if you had to?
It's something that Janessa has thought about. I don't know. We're just gonna have to like wait and see. Like, I hope that Asena can like raise him to be better. But if he was like truly evil or like going to do something bad, then yeah, I think she could. That would be like really sad though.
That would be major trauma. Noted.
Yeah, it would be like a dark side of Asena that probably could not come back from, and then she'd get in trouble with Oriel.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, that's tough. I think she could do it though, but I don't want to. I like Dargan.
I agree with you. Let's see if it comes to that.
Dang, why are you guys thinking about me killing my Dargans?
She just finally got the Dargan. We're not going to kill it off.
This is what the people want.
Kill.
Well, and this is just ammunition for our glorious DM.
I have
I
never
know,
once
right?
stolen
Giving him
ideas
ideas.
from things
No.
that people said. That is not a thing that I do.
Never.
I am a good dungeon master.
Of course not. Of course not.
Okay, this one was asked last week, and it's your call how you want to answer this. Does John have any children?
So it depends on if this is a Matt question or a John question. If it's a John question, John has no idea. If it's a Matt question, yes, asterisk. And I'm not elaborating.
Have we encountered any Fae in Coriander Society?
I'm pretty darn sure, yeah. That
Yeah,
would be
didn't
more so a
we?
question for you.
There was a Fae at the Elvish party. The
Yes.
druggy one.
Yes, there was at least one Fae at that party. Benthazel is not a Fae. She was a half-elf who took a specific druid class that turned her into a She's not even really a dryad. She is a former mortal who transformed into a plant person.
So she's plant. She's not a fae. She's a plant.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I still have a bottle of a dead Sprite.
That's true. That's true. I forgot about that.
Yes, you do.
Asena and
So maybe.
a weird collection.
Dude. For real, though. Speaking of weird collections, I earned some racing stripes for the chariot today.
Oh yeah.
You did. You got those as a treasure. Red ones do go faster. We'll have to figure out what to do about that.
Yes.
Who would you enjoy as guests on the show? Let's start with Matt.
Gosh. Like, as in, like, now, is this talking about guest stars or is this talking about, like, NPCs that we love having?
Guest
like,
stars. I'm going to say guest stars. This is not about NPCs. We talked about NPCs last time, I think. So I think this is about...
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, Necra's amazing.
How many guest stars have we had?
We had Necra, we had Leg Day.
Yeah, we did have Leg Day. I mean, yeah.
I think that's it,
Does
right?
does
Mudcat.
Beatdown count as a guest star? Oh, we did have Mudcat.
Beatdown
You're
doesn't
right.
count. Beatdown was one of the main cast members. I'm going to call Mudcat a guest star /
Oh, yeah.
seasonal star.
Easy.
So those three.
Man. I mean, the first one that jumped out to me was Necra. I've only gotten to play with Mudcat one time, and it was this show, but I've watched their show, so that was fun. I mean, Leg Day is an absolute delight. Every chance I've had to appear either alongside with or watching him, I take it. But Necra, this was like I remember the first time I ever saw her non-casting was when she appeared on Tales of the Golden Bough with you. And I remember when you told me that you were going to try and get her for Ioth Academy, and I thought, oh yeah, that's perfect. I barely know this person, and I can already tell they'd be perfect for that. There's just a quality about her that it's very engaging to share a table with her, and I'm hoping we get a chance to do it again because she was a blast to work with.
It was a lot of fun in Yokai Blossom. Thoughts? Who would you want to have as a guest star?
That's not the question.
Wait, yeah, I was gonna say you want to have as a guest. That's different. You said who did you enjoy
Who
having
I want to
on?
have? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But,
sorry, I meant the question was supposed to be who would you enjoy? I didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was who
okay, well,
was
answer,
our
answer
favorite
the other one
guest
first.
star.
Answer the other one first, and then we'll have to go back and do it properly.
I really enjoyed Leg Day. I think he's an amazing role player. He really gets into his characters and provides a lot of color, which I guess makes sense because he's a caster. But, I really liked role playing with him. We got more into it with Absolute Power, which was not Coriander. So like I feel like in the Coriander one, Necra's character got to shine, but I wanted to see more from Leg Day. So yeah, I think it'd be great to have it back. But yeah, as far as new guest stars, is that what the real question was supposed to be?
The question was phrased, who would you enjoy as guests on the show? So I think you're allowed to mention someone who's been before, but we should also say somebody new.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know.
There. I mean, whoever you're thinking of, we've probably knocked on their door.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of people that we're asking, so I don't want to like say their names, but
Right.
I am looking forward to adding more guest stars to the show because I think it just adds another layer.
Me too. 100% agree. I would say, in terms of who I would want as a guest on the show, we've already had half the cast, so I think we should finish off Ioth Academy. Even though they're already on the channel so often, I've had the pleasure of now getting to play with Necra, Leg Day, and I mean, Lemon Key was amazing. I would love to have her on Coriander, but I have never had a chance to share a table with Crowan, and I would jump at the opportunity. I love the way that they get so involved with their characters, and everything they do is always, I'm not going to say so serious, but you can tell that they take the process of having fun seriously. They roll with the punches. They're willing to take the good with the bad, even so far as to seek out the bad to tell a better story. And I freaking love that. So yeah, that would be a joy.
Agreed. I can probably make that happen. I'll see if I can make that happen.
Also, The Rock, because my wife loves The Rock. So if we can only get Dwayne Johnson out here, I mean, come on.
I was gonna say Mark Hamill, but that's also a good choice. Oh,
She would lose her freaking mind.
Did the different worlds our heroes visit start out connected, or did they get connected by an event or outside force? So that's a more question, I think, mostly for me. In my head, they have always been connected. Most of them have always been connected. Some of them have been severed from each other, or their relationships have been changed by an outside. What happened to the Obsidian Tower, for example, or the world of Leftover. But worlds being connected is the natural state of being in my head, in the Omniverse, which is one of the reasons why when I do Anakra lore, I talk so much about the firmament and why there's so many mechanics of the world of Anakra that inhibit extraplanar travel between Anakra and other universes, because that is an anomaly compared to the norm, which is that even though the magic that allows this travel isn't usually super common, it's just normal for them to all coexist in this cosmic soup. Last year, year before last, actually, we did a non-denominational corporate holiday episode where John and Asana had to do gifts. And we had somebody who wants to know who would be on an updated naughty and nice list.
Like based on the adventures we've had since then.
New people you've met, or based on the adventures you've had since then.
I know who's on my nice list.
Let's hear it.
Oriole, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Is he on the nice list, or are you hoping he's under the tree?
Ooh.
I made it on all of the lists. I think
he's
it
the
would
naughty,
be really
he's the
funny.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Asana's probably gonna like go deliver him a present, and then he's gonna get upset that like we're celebrating a non-denominational holiday. Like, this is
so
sacrilegious
secular now. Anyone
he's
on the
on my nice
updated naughty list? Pods?
It's been a while since we've heard from Ten Kobold. He's on the naughty list.
Yeah. I think he was there last time too, but that's fair. Just patch notes.
I think he was.
Ten Kobold is still a shit.
Yeah. The guy in the Obsidian Tower is on the naughty list. I don't know. We visited other properties. So we would have to go visit the other shows.
True.
Didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, you left presents for IOTH Academy.
Oh, that is a lot of naughty.
I was going to say, Alexander might have been on the nice list last time. If that's the case, that is no longer valid.
That is no longer valid.
It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure he was on the nice list. Now he's like the big bad.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Matt, who's on your updated list?
Well, considering they were there, we didn't really know them. Obviously, all of the big bads that we've encountered. There was the boss of the fire giants and the rest of their ilk. They're ridiculous and hilarious, but they're on the naughty list for sure. Zunio, no matter how much she goes through, and no matter how many olive branches John's tried leaving her way, she just insists on being a shit. So she's definitely on the naughty list. I can, much like maybe Mom, I feel like I keep switching how I feel about Sugumo. Sugumo ends up on the nice list, ends up on the naughty list. I feel like he would get a present and coal. You know what I mean? Like, he just won't pick a side, and that's kind of his joy and his problem. I honestly feel like maybe updating from previously. I think that I think our party's on the nice list. We've had some ups and some downs, but we've pretty solidly decided that we're on the side of we're gonna do good.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna do it for the sake of good. No reward necessary. And I'm gonna for now put Paracelsus on the nice list.
Which one
For
of him?
now. Yes.
And I'll put Dargon on the naughty list mostly because if you gave him a
Yeah,
chunk
good
of
call.
coal, he'd just eat it.
He would eat it. Yeah.
Like it would not matter to Dargon.
No. Half
How do you
matter will
know?
consume.
Because it's full
Maybe
of
he wants
energy.
present.
It has high energy capacity. He would consume it, and it would fuel his inner fire. We are coming up on the close for our episode tonight. Any closing thoughts or anything from our talented cast here?
Closing thoughts. Gosh, let's see. I just want to say that I'm not in a rush, but I'm certainly looking forward to what we have planned in the future. There are quite a lot of gears turning, many moving parts in the works, and a lot of what was brought up today is surprisingly quite a few things that are going to be touched on in the coming weeks. So I think for me, closing out with I am very much excited and very glad that we're doing these Loriander episodes. Looking forward to them continuing. And I need Papaya Tree to be a thing. So regardless of who's watching or between the two of you, I need y'all to
Did
get
we
on board.
explain it?
No, we have not explained it, and I feel like we should not explain it. I think that this is a community mystery that needs to be solved, and the clues are out there.
They have to solve Papaya Tree.
Exactly. Why is Papaya Tree so important? They'll need to find that out. We're not going to say too much more because you're all pretty good at discovering this stuff. So you'll get there. Trust me.
We're gonna put it on the patches
ever.
Worst or better?
I'm getting out of here. Good night, everybody.